This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
And the pitch is swung on, hit the right field, hit deep. Whitefield going back at the track, over his head, and over the wall. Do you believe that?
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Ramirez with a drive to deep right, away back, goal!
Shohei hits a bomb out there by the Rocks. And boy, oh boy, this third inning is now showtime.
It is a Judgian blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to spin rates to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Welcome to Spring Training 2023 here down in Mesa, Arizona. A's Cast Live. We're going to be here for the next 3 days, bringing you all the players that you're going to see for the Oakland Athletics in this upcoming season. I got to tell you, I'm pretty excited about being down. It's always great to come down and get ready for the season and to see everybody, because we haven't seen everybody since last year. But today got a real sense of what this camp is going to be like, what the thought process is going to be like going in to this season. And I have some positive things to report. I really do. And I'm just not trying to, throw some sunshine at you, which I wish we had some sunshine. We're actually getting a little sunshine down here in the Valley of the Sun, but whoever said it's the Valley of the Sun lied for this day, as we've come down. And as you're going to see from some of the players, starting out with Paul Blackburn, and you're going to see with Nick Allen, when we interviewed the players earlier today, it is really, really cold. It's really, really windy. Obviously, back in the Bay Area, what I found out from my wife last night, tremendous winds back in the Bay. That's hit here in the Valley of the Sun, as we're actually expecting anywhere between 40 and 50 mile an hour winds. They've canceled some of the drills that practice was supposed to start. We're an hour ahead down here in Arizona. We're in the future. We're an hour ahead here in Arizona.
Finally, after all those years, we talked to people in Korea and during the KBO, and they were a day ahead of us in the future. Now we're in the future.
We're in the future. Practice was supposed to start earlier today, and they had to cancel. They were going to do all the pop-up drills today. And let's just say when it's blowing 40 miles an hour, might not be the best day to do pop-up drills. So they canceled that, and practice got started later. So everything's been kind of moved around down here. And hopefully we are going to get some players live when practice is over. They'll join us up here at the press box here at Ho-Ho-Cam. We were supposed to do the show today from Fitch Park. If you followed us when we were down here in January for fantasy camp, we found the great perch in the middle of the four fields where we can see everything going on. We were supposed to be up there, but obviously doing a show like this, whether you're listening to us on A's Cast, watching us on YouTube or Twitter, doing a show like this in winds that are very excessive would have been a rough draw. So we're actually in the press box today. We'll be back hopefully at Fitch the next 2 days, being there, being able to kind of show you the sights and sounds of spring training and actually get some video of it for you. But hopefully we'll get some players that are going to stop by. But we got we've taped so many already today. Who are we going to have today?
So we're going to have Paul Blackburn at 1:30. We'll run Nick Allen at 2 o'clock. Shea Langeliers, a guy we joked that we need him to be a 2020 guy this year because he has the speed. He'll be at 2:30. Zach Jackson, our good friend and SEC football fan, at 3. And then, I don't know, some guy that's supposed to be a prodigy that might be here sooner than we think, Tyler Soderstrom at 3:30.
Oh, he got me going. Tyler is a very confident kid. Tyler is ready to play in the major leagues. You're gonna see this interview. You're gonna listen to this interview, and you're gonna see that this former first-round draft pick for the Athletics is ready to have the front office have to make a really tough decision. Like sending him back to AAA. He was there for a couple weeks. He hit there. He's going to hit anywhere. He's about ready. And you're going to see the confidence. And this is the guy. When you talk about, hey, who's in the system? Who's going to help the A's turn it back around? This kid's the guy. He's the real deal. Now he's going to have to come here and he's going to have to produce and he's going to have to put up the numbers. But when you talk about you drafted him, he's kind of like a prodigy kid. His dad, former first-round pick of the San Francisco Giants. His dad, Steve, was a great player at Fresno State. Got to the big leagues with the Giants. His dad has worked with so many up-and-coming young great players in the Central Valley. This kid grew up at his dad's baseball school. I mean, he's been groomed for this, is what I'm trying to get at. And he's gotten a lot bigger. He put it this way. We have seen for so many years now that these guys that are legit, they're not getting here at 26. They're not getting here at 27. Not saying you can't be legit getting here at 26, 27. But when you're the real deal, for the most part, you don't go to college. You get drafted out of high school, you sign for a lot of money, you play for a little bit in the minor leagues, and then you come to the big leagues and you play with the big boys and you have a nice long career and you make a lot of money. That's what the truly legit guys do. How many years did Ken Griffey Jr. spend in college?
None.
Oh, A-Rod was there for how long?
That'd be none.
I mean, we can go down the line. Yes, I'm not good because you can turn around and go, well, what about Barry Bonds?
Bryce Harper wasn't he did, but
junior
he was like 16 years old when he did it.
Bryce Harper left high school early, and his running joke is, what was the one thing he said? Hey, I'm just a guy with a GED. Took the GED so he could go to junior college because he had a late birthday. It's kind of like my kids. And so he got out of high school early, got into junior college early so he could be a first pick. Yeah, there's multiple ways to go about it. There's great players, stars, Hall of Famers who played in college. But for the most part, when you're that good and you're that young, you're going in the first round. And you're going to get signed. And you're going to get to the big leagues early. Mike Trout wasn't hanging out in the big leagues till he was 23, 24. Like, it's how many times are we talking about when people go, hey, the guy's young, he's just 23? Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. You could be 23, 24, we'll get 25. But, when you're super legit, you spend a few years in the minor leagues, 18, 19, 20, you're ready to rock. The super legit guys are ready to come up and play. And that's who this kid might be. This could be, and I don't think he's going to be a catcher. I do ask him about catching and playing first base. But if there's one name, hey, Townie, give me a name down here at spring training that matters. There's one guy. One guy, and that's Tyler Soderstrom. He has the ability, he has the makeup to be the type of player that gets up here and has a long career that you build your franchise around. And these are high expectations. This is cart before the horse, but that's what we do. He is the kid that could be playing first base, that puts up numbers, that goes to all-star games, that you're buying his jersey. We're giving away jerseys. We're making bobbleheads of. When we print season tickets, we still print season tickets, right?
I believe so.
When you're getting your season tickets, he's on the season tickets. He's on billboards.
Media guide.
He's on the media. He's a media guy. He's not. You know how like when you don't have a media guide guy. Say that fast.
Media guide guy.
When you do not have a media guide guy,
like see how he screwed it up.
You put a bunch of guys on, right? You put a bunch of guys,
or you put the manager or someone on.
Yeah, or you put Stomper. When you have a media guide guy, when you have the guy, he's on the media guide.
Yeah, I believe he will be.
I wait till you see what he looks like. If you remember when we first had Tyler on this program out of high school and what he looks like now, and you see the shoulders, you see the chest, you see that he's growing into a man and has all the hitting ability in the world. And he's super athletic. And he's not going to be a catcher, even though he's catching, but he's going to be at first base. Hell, you can put him in the out. His bat's going to play. He will be in Oakland this year. He may not start the season in Oakland. That's okay. I get it. But he will be in Oakland. So if there's one guy, and you're going to hear from him today, that is somebody that you go, where's the turnaround happen? Where's the next Jason Giambi is basically what I'm getting at. You guys all remember, and Giambi was a college guy, but Giambi was a super college player. I know. I played against him. Giambi was on the United States team. I don't think he didn't get an Olympic year, but it was him. Another guy played it, Phil Nevin, who was college player of the year, had a nice little career in the big leagues. These guys in college were already looked at as like, hey man, these guys could be playing in the big leagues. They just happened to be at Fullerton and Long Beach. They're dominant. You knew when they got drafted, these guys will be in the big leagues really, really fast. Super legit guys. This is who Tyler Soderstrom is. But who I really want to start talking about today to kind of get you fired up. Two things. First, Paul Blackburn is a different cat. You're going to see it. You're going to hear it. He is a different guy. Things happen to human beings and professional sports. And things happen to certain guys who kind of go through it all, where you are a guy that gets signed, you have success, you have failure, you can be DFA'd, you could be all this. Paul Blackburn has gone through all of it. He's now been an all-star. He has seen everything in his career. By the way, the finger is okay. I mean, that was like, if I have to read another report, that's why sometimes I get tired of reading stuff like, well, Paul Blackburn, he enters spring training if the finger's okay. We're talking about a finger. We're not talking about your rotator cuff. We're not talking about UCL surgery known as Tommy John. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a finger. Finger's going to get fixed. Wait till you see and hear the confidence in Paul Blackburn. It's almost like, and we won't do it, but I almost want to run the interview I did with Paul Blackburn in the clubhouse last year at spring training, where he was talking about happy to be here, just want to make the ball club. Anywhere you want me to pitch, I'm game. That's what last year was. Now, different guy. You can see it in his eyes. You can hear it in his voice. Confidence. And this guy, unless something else happens, probably will be your opening day starter. And if he can pitch like he did in the first half, before things started to go bad with the finger, you got your guy. Guy was. I know everybody's got to get an all-star, but he did at times really pitch like an all-star, and he was your all-star representative. But the confidence he has going into this year, I was impressed by it. He literally is a different person. And that was really cool. That's one, and I can't wait for you to hear that. Number two, Nick Allen, who's going to be your shortstop. Nick Allen, what you're going to hear, and because that makes, all the projections that we've been reading and all the negativity and that. It was funny. I was over in the business office today and talking to a few people who will remain nameless, that they are in our, as Eno Saris, our baseball columnist who joins us every single week, our national baseball columnist from The Athletic, our R&D department. What does R&D stand for?
Research and data. So
from our research and data department, I talked to a few guys. And I was in there earlier, and they were frustrated. They get frustrated that, at times there's criticism of deals and this and that, and people don't know what they're talking about. They don't have the facts. They don't have the numbers to back it. And I told them, I said, when you've been around this a long time, you just have to get used to. No one's ever going to throw praise at us. Like after Moneyball, the book and the film, everybody always, even in the years where you knew we were going to win the West, people were still like, look out for the Angels. And even we knew we were going to win the West in 13, right? Thought, 14 had the best record in baseball going into the All-Star break, had the most All-Stars. But still, in the years where you know you're going to be good, they downplay you. I'm like, you just gotta understand that's just how it's been. And they're like, I know, it just makes me mad. I want to respond on Twitter. I'm like, you can't. Yeah. Townie ball games out there talking to the R&D department, talking them down off the ledge. But it's a reality. But with everything that's going on right now and all the negativity, you know what I do want to hear? I want to hear somebody say, I want to win. Where's Mike Singletary when I need him? What did Mike Singletary want?
I want winners.
Give me winners. Don't give me your numbers mean nothing to me. Do you win games? That's what it's about. Do you win games? I don't give a I almost cursed. I don't give a about your spin rate. I don't give a about your exit velocity. Do you win games? Oh, this prospect's rated. I don't care. You know what? Your prospect's rated. I don't care. That's going to be my new line. Do you win games? Win probability added. Do you win games? What do you do to win games?
RA 9+.
Or we have to bring back some of the old Saber metrics. Find me a metrics that says this player wins games when it matters. Okay? That's what I can. And Nick Allen says that, and it's awesome. Nick Allen keeps saying, I want to win. I want to win. That's what you need. That's what, no matter how you felt about Matt Chapman, because Matt Chapman was a pain in the you-know-what to some people. I loved him. To me, I don't care. I don't care if you're a pain in the butt. Do you help me win games? Do you help me win games? Are we winning? Can you turn this thing around? Sometimes people are hard to deal with. Josh Donaldson. Was JD any day at the beach?
He was not.
He was not. But you know what? Helped us win games. Cespedes, there was a lot to Cespedes. I think quite a bit of the fan base doesn't know as much about Cespedes as they think they know. But guess what? Cespedes helped us do what?
Win games.
Was Coco always easy to deal with?
He was not.
What did Coco help out with?
Winning games.
We love him for it. Give me guys like that. Give me guys that help win games. And Nick Allen talked about that. And that excites me because players that come through the system, they come through the A's system, because we're always going to have guys coming in from the outside. That's how baseball works, right? You're always going to have a mixture. But you need the guys being groomed in the minor leagues to learn whatever you want to call it. The A's way, the Dodger way, the Oriole way, what we've heard all those years. And Nick Allen is one of those guys. You groom these guys in the minor leagues to play the way you want them to play and to win games. And that's one thing Nick Allen talked about today was winning games. And that's refreshing that a young player says the number one thing that he wants to do and he needs to do is win games. So I asked, what about last year? He hated losing. You got to have guys. Matt Chapman hated losing. There's plenty of stories of Matt Chapman going 0 for 3, 0 for 4 with a bunch of Ks, but being happy after the game because he was the music guy in the clubhouse. Matt Chapman set the tone in the clubhouse and played the music. So it was Matt Chapman who was free throwing and doing it didn't matter what he did in the game. It's matter whether the team won or not. That's what I loved about Matt Chapman. We need guys like that. You need guys that say, you know what? We're going to shoot. We're going to have the fog machine and the free throws and the music going. That's the most important thing. Winning and being happy after wins versus worst guy in the world. Worst guy in the world is your baseball reference guy. We used to say back of the baseball card, but it's now really everybody goes to baseball reference. The guy who's just, hey, as long as I go 2 for 4, I get mine. As long as I get mine. In the NBA, as long as I get my touches and I get my shots. I don't want that guy. I want the guy We need to be grooming guys. It's all about winning. And if you go 0 for 4 that day and you win, you're not sulking. You don't have a great outing, but the team wins. It's all that matters. And it's really tough in a game because you're about making money. It's your career. It's your business. You're a brand. So it's tough, right? Because, yeah, you want to do what you want everybody to do well. We want all these guys to do well, get paid, where they're getting paid here or somewhere else. I get it. Everybody's got families. Everybody's got to take care of people. I get it. But in the end, life is just better. It's the best deodorant in the world is winning. And that's what these guys got to strive for. That's why, when you hear that everybody's bagging on you to be a horrible team, I mean, that's a reflection of the guys in the uniform, not a reflection of me, not you or anybody. I mean, we're not playing. I mean, at some point, if I'm a player, it's funny how, what do these guys know or not? I think they should know. I think they should know everybody's picking you last. Everybody thinks you're going to lose 100 games. That's what they think about you. Because a lot of these guys, if they're insulated and they don't know this and they're walking around, they think life's great. And, hey, that's great. Hey, I get it. You're a young guy. You're confident. You're a professional athlete. But by the way, everybody thinks you stink. What are you going to do about it? That's kind of and I can't wait to talk to Mark Kotze, because if there was anybody that had a chip on their shoulder while they played, was Mark Kotze. How does he feel about it? He's the manager. That's his team. It's a reflection of him. How does he feel about that? How everybody feels. You can't be happy about that.
No, and I'm excited to talk to the Kotz. We haven't seen it. We've been here for, we got here at 8? I didn't even see. I heard his voice in the clubhouse earlier, but I haven't seen him. So I'm looking forward to.
He had a meeting today. Walked by, fist bump, good to see him. And he walked by and he talked to the whole team today. That's all I got to see him. Mike Aldretti had a nice long conversation with Aldo today about this game's going to change, man, for the better. Everybody, it's one thing to hear it from the guys who've done it already, but Aldo was talking about he's excited. He's like, oh man, we're going to watch teams, how each individual team is going to try and take advantage of the new rules. Some teams more than other, right? Like, for instance, I don't think the Yankees are going to change. I think the Yankees are going to still be a beer softball league team. That's who they are. But there's going to be other teams like us. I think there's no question the A's are going to be becoming a running team. They're going to run to victory. And they're going to surprise people with it. And Aldo was, Mike Aldretti, was talking about how already scheming of, they already know what pitchers either A, don't like to throw over to first base, and B, aren't even good at it. So if you're a runner and a right-handed pitcher, and we're talking about a right-handed pitcher, which majority of the league is what?
Right-handed.
So if I'm a runner at first base and I know this donkey on the mound has no move, he cannot control the running game, and he's only got 3 disengagements, I'm going to lead off. It was a conversation between the great Glenn Kuiper, the face of the A's. Television is down here doing promos. So it's G. Kuip, myself, and Mike Aldretti having this conversation. And I was saying to Mike, I was like, if it's me, I'm taking the most monster lead. I'm forcing the guy to throw over. That's one. And once he's thrown over one time and not got me, he's only got 2 shots left. It's in his head. So now you've got pitchers who are going to have to be thinking about what the pitch is, who the hitter is, what the count is, all the stuff you got to deal with at home plate, right? All that kind of stuff. And, oh, yeah, I got to think about the runner over my left shoulder at first base. And now if I've thrown over one time, I'm now thinking about, I only got 2 more. There's going to be so much going through pitchers' heads. And I'm a head case, so as a former pitcher, it would be in my head. I can tell you that now. And the whole time, I'm thinking, if I'm a runner on first and I've gotten this huge lead and I know he's thrown over once or twice, and I'm looking at that pitch timer and it's going 16, 17, 18, and I know he's got to deliver by 20 or it's a balk, I'm gone. I mean, I think stealing bases, the more I talk about it with people and the more I like devise it in my head, my game plan and everything, I think there's no question. You already owe me a steak dinner. You want to go we'll go a Mexican food dinner, Italian food dinner. There's going to be somebody who steals 80 bases this year. I think no question.
Yeah, I mean,
he might be might be Ruiz for the A's.
The guy that led baseball last year, I believe, was John Birdie. People go, who? He's with the Marlins. I think he sold 50 bases last year.
We're going to have somebody will swipe 80 bags.
By the way, when I was at the San Jose State Cal Poly baseball game the other day, on Monday, I saw the disengagement rule happen. Pitcher stepped off, threw over to first, did it again. And then he delivered a pitch, then he threw over to first again, and the umpire walked out. Nope, balk. And a run came in, and the runner went to second. And
what about runners on second? What are you just going to – I mean, if you're a pitcher, you have the inside move, right, where you step and you come over. It's the inside move. I mean, or you can do the turnaround move, the power move. But what pitcher throws over to second base? If I'm leading off second base, I'm going to have the biggest – I'm going to be halfway there. Can you imagine Ricky Henderson playing today or Vince Coleman or Tim Raines? I'm just Maury Wills. I'm just thinking if I'm at second base and you don't like throwing to second anyway, no one even really throws to second. The lead I'm going to take, Dave Roberts said on Buster Olney, God, how am I doing on time?
You still got a couple minutes till 1:30.
I'm sorry. I'm excited. I'm at spring training. It's day one for me. I'm a little excited. Dave Roberts said on Buster Olney's podcast, Baseball Tonight. He used to be, what did I say?
We said, I'm saying what the name of Buster's podcast is, Baseball Tonight.
So Buster Olney had him on. And I disagree with Dave. And I don't know why Dave tempered it down. But Dave was like, well, yeah, I think there's going to be some increases in stolen bases, but not until players start getting paid to do it. Always a former player thinking about, how am I getting paid? Well, the reality is the only way you're going to get paid. See, they think that front offices have to value stolen bases for you to get paid. Now does that make sense to you?
Well, players getting paid to steal bases?
No, that the front offices have to turn their thinking and they have to start valuing stolen bases again for you to get paid to steal bases.
No, I think if you steal bases, that should give you a reason to get paid, not to turn it. That's the way it should be.
I agree with you 100%. You're going to have to show the front office. You can't wait for the front offices. You have to show them. So if I'm a player like Ruiz or whoever on the A's or whoever on any other team, I'm going to go out, steal a boatload of bags, which then is going to allow me to do what? Score a boatload of runs. Because you getting closer, that the percentages show you. The closer I get, 90. Stolen base. And like we saw, what year was it? The 77 or 78 A's that broke that record?
Yeah, that was 78 with Chuck Tanner.
78?
I think it was, whatever year Chuck Tanner was the manager.
So that year, everybody on the A's was stealing. They sold like 371 bags or whatever it was, set the record. You're going to see guys like, we joked with Shea Langeliers today. You're going to be a 2020 guy. Why can't he steal 20 bags? He's got speed. He runs really well for a catcher. We first learned that from his AAA manager, Fran Reardon. I saw the great Fran Reardon today. Yeah, you're going to see guys that normally don't steal bags. They could have 10, 15, 20. And that's going to allow more guys to score runs. So Nick Allen was talking, and you'll hear it. Nick Allen talks about, there's a lot of athletic guys. That's one thing that, we have switched from a team that was essentially a power team, walk and hit home runs. And if you strike out, that's part of the process. That's who we were. Got us to the playoffs. Didn't work in the playoffs. But this is going to be a team that's going to be stealing bags. Whether they're, I don't know, maybe Mark Kotze, when we have him on for the Mark Kotze show, will give us the main strategy. But I just know from Mike Aldretti today, they're going to be running. And it's going to be fun. I guarantee you. This season, we're going to see a lot of move. Got to get on base. That'll be the biggest question. Can you get on base? But once you get on base, we're going to be running. And there's going to be excitement. We're not going to be station to station to station baseball. We're going to be putting the ball in play, hopefully, and running because we've got a bunch of terrific athletes. That's one thing that I think you can kind of hang your hat on is you're going to see a lot of movement on the bases for the Oakland Athletics in 2023. At least what we're getting from the early stuff from the players. And we still haven't even talked to Tony Kemp yet, Ramon Laureano, guys who these new rules really play into their game.
I think a guy like Seth Brown could be a guy that steals some bags too. Maybe 2020, we could say that.
15?
Yeah.
Like if you want to say, okay, let's not get out over our skis, 15.
I think that's easily. I think he could do that. He already knows he could hit 20 bombs. He hit 25 last year. I think he can easily hit 25 and do 15.
One of the biggest questions is, okay, what's up with Ramon Laureano, right? But let's just say a healthy Ramon Laureano could easily be healthy, things good, knock on wood, 20 home runs, 30 plus stolen bases easy.
I'm trying to see. I'm looking at somebody still Seth Brown had last year. He had 11. So he was a 25 and 10 guy last
20.
year. Yeah, he could be 20-20 guy.
30-30 guy.
Oh, what that we're putting that pressure on Shea Langeliers as years go on. Maybe Seth Brown.
How many home runs did he have?
25 and 500 at bats.
Okay, 25 as not a full-time. He was a full-time player, but not like he will be this year.
No, last year he played in 150 games.
That's pretty much full-time.
Yeah.
How many ABs? You have
500. 555 plate appearances. Still pretty good though. 116 OPS plus. He had a nice underrated year last year.
I said it, and people thought I was crazy. I remember when Dallas was having his baby, and he had to get down to Southern California so fast. So I had to. So it was Bip Roberts got moved from A's pregame live to do the game, and I had to step in for Bip with Brody, the great Brody Brazil, who's down here. Yes, for everybody who is concerned, we had great concern. Brody Brazil is okay. He's going to be okay. He was walking without a limp. He will survive fantasy camp. It was rough. We didn't know, if we were going to have to, like a racehorse, take him out back. But no, he is going to be okay. Brody will survive. And if you don't know this, Brody will be at the ESPYs this year. He is already a nominee for Comeback Player of the Year after blowing out his hammy in his first at-bat, returning to the lineup and being productive. My man, Brody Brazil, great San Jose State Spartan, not only returned to the lineup, but was productive. No lower half. He was basically Kirk Gibson. No lower half. And Brody helped get his team to the championship round.
By the way, before we get to Paul Blackburn, he showed me the video of how they lost in fantasy camp. They lost on a triple play at the end of the game. That's how they lost the championship game. A triple play.
How do you survive that?
It was a grounder to the pitcher. He threw it to first. I think it was a line out to the pitcher, threw it to first. No. Grounder to the pitcher, threw it to first. That's one out. Then they threw it home, got the guy at home. And then the guy went around third too quickly, and he was rounding the bag too far, and they got him trying to score as well. And that's how the game ended. Dallas's team won at fantasy camp.
So it wasn't like a Joe Carter, touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. Like one of the greatest endings ever. Or Luis Gonzalez. It was a bad base rate. See, this is why war matters. Everybody, you're like, war, I'm tired of your war. No, war matters. And the reason why WAR matters, it's not perfect. There's nothing that's perfect. But why does WAR matter? WAR matters because it takes in everything. Your running, your defense, your offense. That's why it's funny. I got the old book out, got the old Bible out. We were looking at the Sabermetrics Bible, and I was going through all these lists. Who's number one in all the lists?
George Herman Ruth.
Why is it we had to do all these metrics to find out who the greatest player was? And do you think the original sabermetricians, when they started making all their little fancy, because they're basically math equations?
So you're talking about Bill James here?
Well, there's just not Bill James. There's all these other guys.
He's the godfather of
but
sabermetrics.
there's a bunch of them, right?
Yeah.
Sabermetrics is, if you look at how do I get WOBA? How do I get weighted runs created plus? How do I get anything? Is you got to add, subtract, divide numbers. Yeah. So they're math equations.
They're not short equations. They're long, drawn-out equations.
So when you went through all your math equations, we're going to do all this because we're going to find out. Do you think they were bummed when they found out that Babe Ruth was still number one in all of them?
Probably.
Oh.
This guy,
who's got the best OPS of all time? Babe Ruth. Who's got the best OPS plus? Babe Ruth. Who's got the best WAR? Babe Ruth. Yep. WAR is the most complicated. I would say WAR, out of all the equations, is the most complicated.
Do we know
to do?
Formula for WAR MLB. Let's see if that.
I don't even know.
Oh boy, here we go. WAR equals batting runs plus fielding runs above average plus positional adjustment plus league adjustment plus base running runs plus runs added or due. Jesus, I'm not going to go through this.
Yeah, it just goes on. It's like, okay, you have the crazy WAR, like, however they come up with this number, like you'd think it would be some, not an obscure guy, but no, this guy, when we get all the ingredients, the bouillabaisse, right, the soup, when we put it all together, it's going to come up with somebody up. No, it's still Babe Ruth.
Yeah, it's
up. Sorry,
it's
still Babe Ruth.
The top five guys are like Ruth, Hank Aaron, right? Hank Aaron's up there. Bonds, Mays, and
I got to read you something on Willie Mays. I read on the plane on the way here. Willie Mays led baseball. God, what stat was it in? Might have been WAR, where he led it like 7 times and he didn't win the MVP. He won 2. Willie Mays, I believe, won 2 MVPs, but there was 7 other non-MVP years where he had the highest WAR and didn't win it. But they didn't have WAR then. So, like, Willie Mays really should have won like 9 MVPs.
Yeah, 2-time MVP. He finished, let's see how many times he finished. He finished 4th, 17th, 4th, 2nd, 6th, 3rd, 6th, 2nd, 5th, 6th, 3rd, 19th. 19th, he was only 40 years old.
So it wins above replacement, basically a AAA-ish, or maybe a 4A player, right? The guy that, he's a replay. It's the guy you just bring up. Do you know how many wins you'd have if you had all replacement players? What they call WAR replacement players. You know how many wins you'd have as a team
in a season?
Mm-hmm.
No.
48. If you played with all replacement players, now obviously it's not real life, but yes, if you had what they consider a replacement player, so every single guy you had was a replacement player on offense and on your pitching staff, you'd get 48 wins.
That's not good.
That's not
good.
That's not. A's aren't going to get 48 wins. And one of the reasons why is the guy who, knock on wood, is going to be your opening day starter. He represented the Athletics down in Los Angeles last year as the A's All-Star. He's a Bay Area kid from the East Bay, and Paul Blackburn has been somebody that we've really rooted for. He's a great baseball story. Once again, he's a Bay Area kid. We got to get into pizza, of course. He's got to have a pizza place here because he's always got to have pizza the night before he pitches. But he's a great baseball story, and he's also somebody that the A's really, really need this season from a standpoint of somebody has to be reliable. Somebody has to take the ball every 5 days. Somebody's got to give you 25-plus starts. Somebody. I mean, you can have a lot of different pitchers, but you got to have at least one guy that sets the tone every 5 days. I'm not saying he's going to be perfect. I'm not saying he's going to have a sub-3 ERA. I'm not saying he's going to be a Cy Young Award winner. He's going to be you need somebody who drives the bus for the pitching staff. Because if you don't have a bus driver, who's going to drive the bus?
Exactly.
You got issues. Somebody's got to set the tone. Somebody's got to be the leader. That guy is Paul Blackburn. Now, in this video, you're going to see he's freezing. I'm telling you this morning, where it's freezing out there. The wind, the palm trees, you can't see it. The palm trees are going like this. That's why we're inside. But we did it this morning. We brought players out at 9:30 this morning. It was freezing. I believe you're going to see him shivering here. But here is Paul Blackburn earlier today here from Ho-Ho-Cam Stadium. Our Paul Blackburn here at Ho-Ho-Cam Stadium. How are you? It's been a while since we've seen you.
Yeah, I've been good. Off-season's been good. I'm excited. I'm just excited to be here and start the season back up.
I got to think for you, going into the offseason, you didn't like how it ended, obviously, with the injury. But that first half that you have, something so much to build on for your career. When you got a chance to sit back and go, man, all-star game, the way you threw the ball, the things you accomplished, what was that like, the thinking in the offseason?
Yeah, just kind of, like you said, replaying that in my head, the first, what was it, like three-ish months. I just wanted to go out and do it again, honestly. Just so much joy in this game when situations like that happen, when you go out and you have success and it brings the team success, and all of a sudden you catch a winning streak and you get rolling. It's just, that's what this game's about. It's just the ups and downs, and a lot of times we focus on the downs more than we focus on the ups, and just being able to kind of reflect off last year for me, it's just a lot of kind of joy that I feel like I missed playing this game.
Yeah, it's so true. It's always like a glass half full when, we need to have some fun around here. And I saw it in you. And I think about the first interview we did in spring last year, where we talked about making the team, contributing, to then having you on after the All-Star game, the confidence that you had. I mean, we talked about grips and stuff like that, but you changed. You became more confident. Talk about how that process, where kind of the light went on to where you weren't surviving anymore. You were going out to win.
Yeah. No, and that's kind of how it was. And I feel it's still coming in here this year. I feel it's just different. Just a little bit, just more confidence, kind of like you said, than I had last year. And and also too, kind of as far as us kind of always focus on the downs, right? I've kind of been through everything this game has to offer. I've gone out there and I haven't gone out of the first. I've gone out there and I've gone 8. They've gone out there and started off well and all of a sudden blew up late on me. Been DFA'd. I've kind of been everywhere, done it all. So for me, it was just like, what else does this game really have to? What else does this game have to offer that I haven't already experienced? Yeah. So might as well just go out and have some fun and believe in yourself. And, at the end of the day, good or bad, at least you can go out there and be like, look, I gave it everything I had that day. And, that's just kind of how I approached it last year. And then things started rolling and I just kind of kept with it. And it's obviously a lot easier when things are going good to kind of keep just a clear mind and confident and have more confidence in yourself. But yeah, that's just how it kind of came about last year. Was before the season started, I was sitting there and I was just thinking about everything I've kind of been through in this game, and the goods and the bads, and I've kind of been through it all. And
it's a hell of a journey.
It has been, and so yeah, like I said, it was more about just knowing I've gone through it all and kind of came on the other side just fine. So might as well go out there and have some fun and see what I can do.
When you talk about injuries like Tommy John or shoulder, yours was a finger. So how is the finger? Where are we for you throwing wise? I know you've been throwing some off the mound, but we just want to know, because we heard about the finger. Will he be ready? You're going to be ready, right?
Yeah. I'll be ready. Yeah. And kind of touching off what you said about Tommy John and labrum or shoulder, those are your two bigger or more, I guess, more prominent injuries.
Career
that happen.
changers.
Yeah. And I know in that last year when my finger popped up, it was probably the most frustrating point in my career, because it's not like my elbow hurt. It's not like my shoulder hurt. It's like I got literally a finger that is restricting me to go out there and throw. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I just sat there forever and thought about it. Like, man, like really like a finger. A finger is what's really kind of holding me back here. Not like, hey man, like your elbow is really messed up right now.
Yeah.
You know, like one of those things where it'd be like, okay, like I gotta take time because of my shoulder, you know, but like I said, like a finger, like really a finger. But yeah, no, finger's doing good. I PT, physical therapy this off season was good. Made a lot of strides as far as like grip strength, and we did a lot of shoulder stuff as well. So built a lot of, I have more shoulder strength this year coming in. Definitely feel it. And yeah, I feel good. I feel good right now. I'm excited to kind of get this thing back going and just start the season off.
One of the fascinating things that we did last year that people learned about you was the night before you pitch, you're going to have pizza. And so everybody, you know, because everybody loves pizza, everybody gravitated to that. So down here in Arizona, before you pitch, is there a spot that you have here that you'll get pizza the night before?
Yeah, I go to Grimaldi's here. There's a couple places here in the valley, but I know there's one down in Old Town, Scottsdale, that I'll go to, and I'll get pizza from there. It's just my favorite pizza kind of in this area, so just stick with that.
All right, it's freezing, so one more to get you out of here. We got you tabbed as the opening day guy. We got a long way to go, but as you said, you know, we have so much respect for you being a Bay Area guy. We always have said that, and everything that you've been through. All-Star game was incredible. What would it mean to you to be the opening day starter?
Yeah, I feel like being an opening day starter is a huge honor. And I feel like as a starter in general, everyone across the league would probably want to do it once, at least once, you know, to have that honor to be like, man, like the first guy to kind of pitch for the guys. You know, but honestly, like it's not a big importance to me, really, you know, and I know I touched on this last year where, you know, I want all the guys in the rotation, all 5 guys in the rotation to go out there and be like, man, like I'm the opening day starter. Like I'm the ace, like take that away from me. And you know what I mean? It kind of builds that competitive nature within the staff. And when you guys are competing against each other, that's when the best of each other comes out. You know, and my biggest thing this year is just once the season starts to be healthy and be ready to go for the guys, you know, whether I'm throwing that first day or whether I'm throwing that fifth game of the year. You know, that's all I'm working towards right now. Like I said, if I was, you know, the first guy to start the game this year, opening day, it'd be a huge honor. But to me, there's so many other things that are more important for us as a staff and as a group, team-wise in general, to focus on than other than just getting the ball the first game of the year.
Thank you for coming out. I know it's freezing cold. Get inside, get warm. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll see you back in Oakland.
Thank you. Good talking to you.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, first of all, he's over here. The great Mark Ling did a great job for us today and his staff. And then can't thank the players enough. All the players that we're going to have today for coming out early. You know, you can't really see it, but well, you know, back in the Bay Area, back home, you guys know it's freezing and it's really, really cold here. And the thing is, it's, you know, you get used to being in the desert with wind, but usually it's a warm wind. It's like an icy wind today. Wait till you see Nick Allen.
I can't get over what did you say about the wind again? Because I'm always used to people saying it's a dry heat. What did you say? Wind, something about the wind. You just mentioned about the wind. It was an icy wind, a dry heat.
There's no dry. It's wet down here right now. They've had it was funny. Like they never, like when we talk about not getting rain in California, they get no rain here. I mean, it's the desert. So when they get a little bit of rain, it immediately floods but they've gotten a lot of rain for them here in Arizona. But yeah, wait till you see Nick Allen. So it was cold this morning. It was breezy. The minute Nick Allen, and we're starting, he was our first guest today. The minute we sit down, Nick Allen, whoa, the tarp behind us just flies up. You'll probably be able to hear it. You didn't get to see it.
I think it might have been again when we talked to Zach Jackson or maybe Daniel Susak, who will play later in the week. One of the times the computer that we use is almost blew off the table.
That's it blew right into my lap. And like, just keep going. Yeah. I mean, we're not live, but yeah, it's in, but don't worry. You're not here right now. You're not coming down for you spring trainers. You're going to be coming down. First game starts Saturday. Weather's going to pick up in the next couple days. And by the time we get playing, you'll have your spring training weather, 75 degrees and absolutely perfect. It will be that. It's just not right now. Very rare cold spell.
What do you mean the sun's out right now? And then
it
looks like it's raining in the background.
You should take one of the cameras and go down to the rest of the show from down there, and I'll stay here.
Oh, so like I could be like checking in among the in the elements.
Yes, just hear the wind coming off the mic. You heard it. I mean, now because I don't know when we were recording it. Now that you got to listen to it, see it, do you now understand what I'm saying? He's a different guy. He's a much different. He's a professional athlete where the light has gone on.
Yeah, and it's great. The thing that people forget about Paul Blackburn, and I sometimes forget, the guy was a first-round pick with the Cubs out of, Heritage High School in Brentwood. I know our boss is real happy about that. Our boss, Delaire, is a Brentwood native.
Brentwood honk.
Brentwood, he now resides there, not native. But yeah, I mean, we saw last year with Paul how good he was. We broke down his splits like the first and second half. Not even that. It was his first 16 starts, I think, where he had the ERA under 3. He just looked dominant on the mound. No, he's not a big strikeout guy, which in today's game is really odd, but he did it very well without striking a lot of guys out. And then the second half came around where he gave up like 5 runs, 6 runs, 10, and then the finger injury. But he looks different. He seems different. Like he has a good head on his shoulders. He's a big, I believe he's a big mindful of this guy. I remember having that conversation with him last year. So the guy gets it. And, some guys bloom later than others. I mean, I know he's, what is he, almost 30? He's right, 29 maybe. So, some guys, the light clicks at 20. Sometimes it clicks at 30. Let me see how old.
We just need it to click now.
Yeah.
We need him. I mean,
Paul's 29.
I mean, that was, to be totally honest, that was one of the things that was tough when a trade went down and Cole Irvin went down, because you're thinking Cole Irvin and Paul Blackburn together, what that gave you. But, you move on. The deal is made and you move on. So now Paul Blackburn now becomes what we thought Cole Irvin really needed to be. Paul Blackburn really needs to be that guy. He has to be that consistent force for the starting rotation, because there is a little bit of a buzz. Don't want to overhype it, but there is a buzz about the starting staff. Are we playing Langeliers today?
Yeah, we'll play Langeliers at 2:30.
You're going to hear from Langeliers, like
Mr. 2020.
They got some arms. Like everybody's like Fuji, Shintaro Fujinami is Fuji is special. The arm is special. Now, we don't know if he's going to throw strikes, but the arm's special. You're talking 98 to 100 with a devastating split. Let's go. Everybody loves Ken Waldichuk. Muller's getting comparisons to Madison Bumgarner.
Oh, those are Bumgarner with the Giants, right?
Which one? Oh, okay.
Not Arizona, Madison Bumgarner.
Not that. Not the guy with a 5 ERA, Madison Bumgarner.
The guy the Diamondbacks don't even want to throw out there anymore.
In the last year of his contract.
I asked you the question, not to go off. I said, do you think he returns to the Giants? And what was your answer?
No. This might be it for old Mad Bum after this end of this year.
He could hit, though.
You could see the Diamondbacks eating the rest of that. Last year of his contract, it was like 5 years, $85 million, somewhere around there. This is the last year of Mad Bum's contract. I'm not going to be shocked if by a certain point of the season they move on and just say thanks for everything, and we're going to pay out the rest of the contract without you being here. And
thanks for the memories, but I don't know what memories they have with Bumgarner.
And if he wants to go sign a minor league contract somewhere and compete for a job at spring training, okay. or signs the one-day contract with the Giants and retires as a San Francisco Giant.
But I guess that's high. I mean, that's high praise for Kyle Mahler to be compared to Giants, Madison Bumgarner, not Arizona Diamondback.
Madison Bumgarner with the Giants was a stud.
Yeah.
And
we're not talking about
stud.
We're not talking about just the playoff run. Like, he was a very good regular season pitcher too.
Durable. He's what I want. I want durability. I want starts. I want innings pitched. You want Jacob deGrom? That's fine. I rather have Madison Bumgarner. Give me his starts.
So we'll take away his 19 and 20-year-old seasons because he started 18 games at 20. 30.
18 games at 20.
Yeah.
At 20.
And a 3 ERA.
And what year was that?
2010. Yeah,
and that was in a World Series year, and he pitched in one game. I have no idea. You're the Giants fan, not me. He pitched against the Rangers in Arlington.
I just remember they won the World Series on my birthday. That's all I remember.
So
that's November 1st.
Madison Bumgarner pitched a World Series game. He started against the Rangers in Arlington.
I don't remember what game it was.
So it would have been like game 4, 3 or 4, something like that. And threw well at 20 years old. Give me Mad Bum starts.
All right, so we'll start with age 21 season. 33, 32, 31, 33, 32, 34. Then he had a couple down years. And then he went back to 34 at age 29 in 2019. Okay.
This goes back to a conversation last year at the DoubleTree in Phoenix, where we stay. We've stayed forever. We were out by the pool. It was warm, smoking a cigar, just chatting about baseball. And I was on my continued journey to not love Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom's stuff is as good as anyone who's ever pitched in the game. That's not disputable, right?
That's true.
I mean, he has, if you have that 80-20 scale on scouting, his 80 being the highest, his slider would be an 80.
Yeah, he throws hard too. Former shortstop.
Throws 100, right? 98, 100. Jacob deGrom has some of the greatest stuff. And so that's why when he does pitch, he's at times unhittable. But he doesn't pitch a lot. And even when he is going, he doesn't give you volume.
38 starts in the last 3 years.
So he doesn't give you a lot of volume. His 2 Cy Young Award years, he barely had 200 innings. Well, one was 200. Was the second one 200 innings?
Let's find out.
So 1 year, 200 innings. Second, I think both he had barely 200 innings. Which, when he did that, we still were looking for more than that when he won those. We've just recently.
217 and then 204.
Guy won a Cy Young Award throwing 204. It's mind-blowing.
255 strikeouts, which everyone strikes out, and won 11 games that year.
Well, and that's great. Is people success innings, and we're so in love with strikeouts. But it started to realize strikeouts are kind of cheap because everybody strikes out. So we were like fawning over deGrom and his strikeouts, but we weren't realizing that the game, what year was that?
The year that would have been 2019, when he won a second one.
And the first one was?
2018, he won 269 strikeouts and 217.
What year were we really, the game's become the 3 true outcomes?
Right around 18, 19, more
so
19.
This is when we're just realizing, oh my God, there's there's so many strikeouts. This is gross. So as you fawned over all these strikeout pitchers, it was like, well, everybody strikes out. Everybody strikes people out. Remember Chris Bassett with us was one of the top strikeout leaders.
Yeah.
Would you say he had great strikeout stuff?
No, good curveball, but no, not good.
No, everybody strikes out. I could come out of retirement at my age and probably strike some people out.
That's why I said it was so remarkable what Paul Blackburn was able to do last year when he was going the way he did without striking a lot of guys out. I think he had like 67 strikeouts. How many? I think he never.
But I want to get back to my point. So as you fawn over deGrom and the Astros, I was proving a point. I said, you can take your 2 Cy Young Awards and you can take those 2 years. I'll still take Kenny Rogers, the gambler's career. And you thought I was nuts. And I said, well, let's just go to the numbers. And you can't even compare. Just a guy like the gambler, Kenny Rogers, former A.
Right, 98.
You can't even compare, 17, 18 years he played?
99, sorry. Yeah, 98, 99. Rodgers played 20 years.
20. I apologize. Shortchanged him 3 years.
50.5 career WAR. 200.
Pretty damn good.
219 career wins.
That's a fucking incredible career.
Yeah.
A 50 what? 50.5?
Yeah.
50.5 for a pitcher. Remember, pitchers' WARs, don't compare them to hitters. They're different. You got a 50 WAR. You pitched 20 years. You won over 200 games. How many years did he get 30 starts?
He did it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13 years he gave you 30 starts. He was crapping on the gambler. Now he had some drinks in him. Going to be honest. He was a little light in the pants. Do you now? And I was like, you're crazy. You're crazy. You have no idea. Kenny Rogers gave you 13 years of 30-plus starts. Do you now understand where I'm at? What he gave his teams year? He gave you what's so precious in our game today, which we don't have, is innings and starts.
In 2004, at age 39 with the Rangers, he started 35 games. DeGrom started 38 games the last 3 years.
Have you now come around a little bit?
Yes.
I'm not asking you.
Yes.
Because
I've changed my mind on DeGrom after the tightness the first day of camp this year.
Analytic people stopped caring about volume, which is wrong. In a game of volume, you need volume. We don't play in the NFL. We don't play once a week. We play every day. We need people who play every day. The best ability is availability. We need people who show up and play. If we don't have guys who show up and play, we get what we had last year with the A's. We had 64 position players. We had 64 overall players. By the way, you think that was bad? It wasn't until the last 3 games. If you may not have paid attention, and if you weren't listening, if you didn't watch or listen to A's Cast Live, if you weren't listening to A's Cast, and you didn't listen to my post-game show, A's Talk, after the game, the last 3 games, I don't blame you. If you had checked out in its football season, I totally understand. But you would have realized the Angels used one more player than we did. The Angels used 65 players. So the Angels and the A's, 2 franchises, been around a long time, both set franchise records for most players used in a season. 65 and 64.
How many rookies did we use last year? It was like 19 or something.
It was a record. It was always a record. All I know is this. You don't have a bunch of guys who show up and play every day, you got no chance.
Hell, we used 12 first basemen last year. 12.
That's a pretty easy metric, right? Here's my new metric. Have a bunch of guys that play all the time. If you don't, you for sure will stink.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fair. That's why we always talk about Giancarlo Stanton never gets on the field for the Yankees.
Coming up next, he got his taste, and now it's his time. The shortstop of your Oakland Athletics will join us next from spring training right here on A's Cast Live.
It's that time of the year. Single game tickets are now on sale for the 2023 season. Secure your tickets for some of the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. From opening weekend against the Angels to the 50th reunion of the 1973 World Series team, to unique giveaways like Pit Viper glasses. There is so much happening at the ballpark this season. Don't miss out on other homestands as we take on the Giants, Padres, Yankees, Cubs, and Braves. Visit athletics.com/tickets to get yours now. That's athletics.com/tickets.
The Oakland Athletics begin spring training on February 25th. Now's the time to make plans to catch us in Mesa, Arizona, and enjoy the sunshine with your family and friends. Buy your tickets early for the best seats at the lowest prices as your green and gold take on the Giants, Dodgers, Padres, Angels, and more at Hohokam Stadium.
And Tony, it's a deep drive to right in the corner. Gritchick going back. He'll turn and watch it fly.
Get your tickets at athletics.com/spring. That's athletics.com/spring.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is a national brand with family-owned prices and service. You can shop at one of their Barrie locations, and all stores are sanitized and safe, or you can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. nestbetting.com. Green and gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Betting, love where you sleep.
A's GM David Force stopped by A's Cast Live to talk about Shintaro Fujinami.
Yeah, you don't do a whole lot of press conferences. What do it mean, as we're just going to call him Fuji, as you get your big right-hander, really like a small forward? I didn't realize he was this tall.
He's a big dude. Yeah, even when Billy walks in and says, damn, he's big, you know that he's a big guy. So it's been fun getting to know him over the last few days and spending some time with him. But I mentioned earlier, our guys in Asia did a great job with scouting, and it was great to be able to bring this one in.
Yeah, I when I learned about the signing, we were actually down in Arizona at the time at Fantasy Camp and started looking him up and trying to remember him from the World Baseball Classic. He was like a $175, $180 in these, and then you now look at him, he's put on weight.
Yeah.
He's filled out. Just talk about what you've seen, especially we've heard the last 3 months about velocity in the split finger.
Yeah, I mean, you're thinking about a guy who's been in the big leagues for 10 years over there, and you don't think about a guy who's still really developing, but he was in the big leagues at 18 years old. So he's really, matured over his career, obviously went through some difficulties in 16, 17 with command. He even spent some time in the minors the past couple of years, but we really did a good job following him through the minor leagues, staying on him, and his last month and a half in Japan, he made a couple starts in August where he dominated, and we watched a lot of video, talked a lot about him leading into the off season, and then really just stayed on this deal until we got it done.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
This is Chris Townsend for the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. Great news! Our indoor dining is back, along with our beautiful patio dining. Come taste our world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 83 years. The Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek has one of the most dynamic menus, plus a full bar. Pot pies, gourmet burgers, sandwiches, salads, flatbreads, and more. Don't forget, we still do takeout and delivery. For all the information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Humanity has accomplished a whole lot so far. We created penicillin, the automobile, and the internet, not to mention drones, duct tape, and the hot dog. It's all thanks to the power of human connections. And RingCentral's here to make that even easier, more seamlessly and securely, on a platform built to grow your business. Say hello to a whole new way to say hello. Visit ringcentral.com and say hello to possibilities. RingCentral. Message, video, phone, together.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
Okay. Don't worry about all the publications. All right? As I said earlier in the show, nobody is ever going to, even in years we're good, they don't pick us. That's just a reality, right?
Fact.
They're against us. It's just, you know what? It's like the same thing that happens. You have these guys that have to do these projections, and then all of a sudden when the A's are good, they would always, like a Buster Olney or whoever, Ken Rosenthal, they'll always say, oh, it's just the A's doing the A's thing again. Well, then if you know the A's are going to do the A's thing again in the years that we're good, why don't you pick us? Why do you always pick the Angels? Like, seriously. Like, okay, Astros, yeah, but we go back to when the Astros were bad. They still love they always are the Angels. I mean, it's ridiculous. But I want to give this to you. Our friend Jim Bowden from The Athletic. Oh, we didn't even mention we had a great dinner last night with our
really good friend from the MLB Network, Sirius XM channel.
Talk about it's the best show on satellite, Power Alley. Jim Duquette, former general manager, who will join us on Friday.
Friday, yeah.
So Sirius XM is going to be here on Friday doing the A's preview. The Duke, one of the terrific front office guys, now turned media guy, who does the Power Alley. And arguably the best show, I would say, just like if you want just a podcast, that's not, I think the best overall podcast would be Buster's Baseball Tonight.
You're talking about besides us.
We're team oriented. So
you're talking about baseball,
We're not in this category, right?
Yeah, I'd say Buster.
So, yes, I mean, of course, we give you more. I'm going to tell you this. Should I toot our horn? I'll toot our horn. You will get more real baseball talk and opinion and calling people out and giving you the real. As Jim Harbaugh said, it's going to, A's fan Jim Harbaugh, it's going to get real fast on this program than you would, because a lot of guys, they're afraid to give opinions because they weren't raised in real talk radio. There's a difference. You have two guys here that were raised in talk radio, where talk radio is about big opinions. Right or wrong, we're entertaining and we give opinion. That's what we do.
Takes, as they call them. Takes.
Hot takes.
Well, we don't go that far,
but that's what we do. I've been in this thing for almost 30 years, however long it's been. You've been in it now for years. So in sports talk radio, you got to say something every day. You can't go cliche. And a lot of shows and a lot of podcasts, you hear a lot of cliches, a lot of safe stuff. You don't get safe stuff. Nobody has ripped the Astros' ass more than we have on this program. We have gone into it. We have dug into it. We've hammered them more than anybody else. Well, everybody was like, oh, just win it for Dusty. To hell with Dusty Baker. I'm still pissed that the Astros won the World Series. You don't get that on Sirius XM. You don't. Buster Olney's not. Everybody's stoked about baseball. Everything's so great. Everything's no. You get you get opinions here on A's Cast. So there is no podcast like us. And we thank you. And that's why we got great numbers. Because whether you're an A's fan or you're a baseball fan, we talk as much MLB as anybody. We talk a lot of A's, but we talk MLB, and we give you real opinions. We're not sugarcoating it. We give you the real. But if it's not us, because we're owned by the A's. Our podcast is owned by the A's. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, we're a team-affiliated podcast.
Yeah, they own the podcast. They own it. And that's what makes it so great is Dave Cavill, Catherine Aker, the great DA, they tell us, do your show. Make us proud. So that's what we do. But Buster Olney's podcast is fantastic. That's an everyday deal. The GM, if you have SiriusXM, I love SiriusXM. I pay for it. I love it. The show they do Sunday morning, the front office, it's Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, as Dallas Braden, who was a guest this past weekend. I was listening to it on the plane. Jim Squared, as he called it. Their 2-hour show. They get all the other GMs on. It is wow. It's like it's the inside of the inside, because GMs, the decision makers in our game, will tell these two guys stuff they won't tell other people. They'll give them opinions that they won't give other people. And Jim Bowden is not afraid to ask tough questions. And so if you can get up Sunday morning, or you can just favorite it and it'll be in your podcast, the front office show, Sirius XM, MLB channel 89. I don't think there's a show like it. I mean, because I can't sit here and tell you this is what GMs are going to do. This is what they should do. I've never been a GM. You've never been a GM.
Confirmed. At least not yet.
Not in your 8 fantasy baseball teams that you used to have before you became an employee, because now as an employee of the A's and Major League Baseball, you cannot have a fantasy baseball team.
I'm an elite fantasy hockey manager. Let's just put it there.
So you cannot have 2 or 3 fantasy baseball teams. You're not allowed to have that, which is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. It's ridiculous.
By the way, real quick, good thing
if I have a fantasy baseball team, how does that affect Major League Baseball?
Fair point. I'm looking at the wind. It's just look at the flag over there by the bathroom, how it's blowing. Good thing we didn't go out and do it on the field today.
Oh my God. It's like 40, 50 miles. I mean, they set up to 50. I mean, what is a hurricane? 70? What is the definition of wind, and how windy does it have to be a hurricane?
You don't know the answer to that question? The Karate Kid.
Yeah. Hey, Karate Ray, look up how was that? It's either like 70 or 75. It's got to be blowing 70, 75 for it to become a hurricane.
We eventually will get back to what Bowden had to say.
70. It has to 74 miles. We're 24 miles an hour away from being a hurricane here.
A Cat 1, as they call it, a Cat 1 hurricane.
Cat 1. Send help. Jim Bowden did his article today grading everybody's. It's the official grade. Let me get the official title here. If you subscribe to The Athletic, what you all should is baseball, because their baseball coverage is the best. Bowden's MLB report card. Offseason grades, takeaways, and key questions for all 30 teams. He gave the A's, and normally he's been very harsh on the A's in the past. He gave the A's a C+. And let me tell you something. C+, as C's get degrees, folks. I'll take a C+. I lived in college. I lived in the C+ to C- range and got myself a degree. So C+, I take C+ all day long.
I was an overachiever in college. I had a 3.6 GPA.
No, I couldn't even tell you what my college GPA was. But C+, pretty good. I mean, for everybody in the doom and gloom and rebuilding, and this is awful, he gave it a C+. Looking at all the grades, this team is better. So that is a guy in the know who I if you listen to him enough and you read it, he can say some crazy stuff, but he knows. He knows what they've been doing. He talks to David. He talks to Billy. He knows what we're trying to do. And I got to tell you, I was surprised that he gave us a C+.
When you asked me, I immediately shot for he's going to give at least a C-.
You're a glass half full.
Well, I read enough of his stuff where I know where he could be
You're
going.
A glass half full. Earlier today, he let us off. A guy that's going to play a big part this year and the future, getting the A's back on track. Your young shortstop, Nick Allen. Well, welcome to spring training, A's Cast Lifestyle. We're here on the field, Ho-Ho-Cam Stadium, with the Athletic shortstop. Nick Allen joins us on a, let's just say, a very windy and cold day here in Mesa, Arizona. How have you been?
Been good. Yeah. Cold right now, but I've been good. Just getting ready to go. Yeah, taking it day by day, and I'm excited.
You know, when I think about your journey now, as you're going to be the starting shortstop for the Oakland Athletics, and you've moved down here to Arizona. I mean, you're all in, obviously, and it's about preparing yourself for this season. Talk about the move and how that's helped you progress.
Yeah, no, we moved out here in about October, so after the season, and I think the whole goal also was just to be, with Josh Cuffey out here, and then Tommy Everidge, our hitting coach, and we wanted to put work in and put myself in the right situations to come out here and have success. And luckily all my whole family was on board. My fiance was on board, and we're doing it right now.
I think about where you were when you first came up and your first experience in the big leagues, and you take that with you into the off season. What was that like this off season, having been in the big leagues, knowing kind of what your future is going to be? How did you build on what you accomplished in Oakland last year?
Yeah, I think everything last year was for sure a learning experience. Obviously, I was competing and trying to win every single pitch, but it was a learning experience because in my head, I didn't do how I wanted to do. And So it lit a fire underneath me, and I put in the work that I wanted to. So I checked off that box this offseason, and I'm just ready to go, ready to get it going.
When you say you didn't do what you wanted to do, what is that?
I'd say, obviously the main goal here is to win, and we didn't do necessarily that last year, and that's the main goal this year. But for me, I want to be a guy that can help the team, in every facet, hitting, getting on base, stealing some bags, and ending up scoring. I want to score a lot of runs this year and save a lot of runs on defense. So, that's something that I wish I could have done a little bit better maybe on the offensive side last year. But, that's why it's a learning experience. So we're going to keep growing and we're going to get better.
That's the name of the game. You got to score runs and you got to prevent runs. That's how you win baseball games. And speaking of scoring runs and stealing bags, are you excited? Rule changes. We don't call it a pitch clock. It's a pitch timer. Bigger bases. They can't throw over a bunch anymore. They only get 3 tries at you. Are you excited as a base stealer with these new rules and the clock?
100%. First I got to get on base to steal some bags. So that's the main goal. But when we're on base, I think we're going to be aggressive. We're going to be ready to run. We got a lot of fast runners on this team. But I think, if we get the sign to go, we're going to be ready to go.
Well, and then I think about when you're going to be messing with the pitcher. Now, I can't wait to see how this is going to play out. But I got to think you want to take some big leads, big leads, force him to throw over, force him to actually think about it, because it's going to be mind games with the pitcher once he throws over once or he throws over twice. Now he knows he can't go over again without a balk. Do you have a game plan yet for it?
We've talked about a game plan. And I don't want to get into that since I guess we're on air. But definitely, if we can confuse pitchers and get them off their rhythm so they can throw some better pitches for us to hit at the plate, then that's our main goal, right?
I feel for players, you're more comfortable when you're in the same defensive position, unless you're a guy that you just know you're a utility guy and you accept that and that's your role. You played in different positions last year. I don't know if that's great offensively for you. Now knowing that it's shortstop, you're going to be a short. How much do you think that will help every day knowing that you're a shortstop? Do you think that will translate for offense?
I think it'll help, obviously, but as a baseball player, you want to just, be locked in on what you got to do every day, no matter what position you're playing. But, I've grown up a shortstop and, so I guess it could help me out mentally. You never know, but, I don't really rely on that so much, but we'll see how it works this year.
So when you think about this team, tell us so far. I know you guys have just reported. I mean, a lot of the guys anyway, but there are a lot of new faces. Just what is the chemistry like, what you've seen so far in the clubhouse?
It's a great chemistry right now. Everyone's getting along. They're talking, they're hanging out, getting to know each other. And we're all here for the same reasons. We all want to win. And we also are all competing, for spots. So everyone's working their butts off right now. So I'm happy to see that. And it, lights a fire under me as well, even more to, keep getting after it.
Who are you excited about playing with as a new teammate?
Ooh, can't really put my finger on one, but I've got to talk to Jace Peterson a little bit, and he seems like a really good dude and a really good guy to talk to. And also, everyone on the team, everyone's a good guy, but Jace seemed like he was kind of a lot of the same stuff we align on.
So now that you've moved down to Arizona, this is supposed to be the Valley of the Sun. Where's the sun? I mean, I got swim trunks, I got shorts. What's going on with this weather?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It's been a little chilly this whole off season, but usually it's like really sunny out, so it kind of throws you off. But right now we got some wind, and that's when it gets a little chilly out here.
Yeah, it's a whole different Braxton. All right, we're gonna let you go. We appreciate you stopping by, but just the one thing that I know for you, as a guy that's come up in this system, you're very proud of being an Oakland Athletic. And something that I appreciate is you're talking about winning. And that means a lot to you. And I think that is something you can help instill into a lot of people, because that's what this franchise is about.
Oh, 100%. I mean, from the first day I got up here last year, that's what it's all about. So, that's our main goal every day when we step in the clubhouse is we want to win. And so that's our main job this year, to go do that.
And we'll get you a lot of chicken pies once you get you back
Oh,
in the Bay
100%,
Area.
100%. Yeah.
Good to see you, buddy. Good luck the rest of spring.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's right. Nick Allen, if you don't know, and I've told the story many times, I grew up with Nick Allen's mother and his aunt, and we all went to school and church together. And I know his grandparents, and they grew up eating at my family's restaurant in San Diego, the San Diego Chicken Pie Shop. You hear the commercial for the restaurant we have established in Walnut Creek, the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. If you want to know how good the food is, just ask Nick Allen. Once I got introduced to him and we brought him to the restaurant, he eats in there all the time now. Nick Allen will tell you how good the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek is.
And San Diego.
But they don't.
Yeah, but
to our people here, go to Walnut Creek.
Yes, I mean, I've been there. I go there without you.
Yes, I'm telling you.
Something way back from Sac or Sonoma.
The food is legit. All right, so we still, because of the change in plans today, we still have a chance to get some players live in here in the booth.
Sounds like we're going to, at some point before we're done, we're going to have Seth Brown.
Seth Brown is going to stop by. Hey, you got to, listen, you come to spring training, you got to be flexible. It's different than the regular season when we know the game's going to start and there's going to be BP. It's just you got to be flexible. We're flexible. We're supposed to be outside. We're inside. We had to tape players today. Now we're going to get some players live. You got to be ready to rock. That's how it works here on A's Cast Live. And that's what's great about the way our show is, the fact that it's live, but then you can go back and listen to it or watch it when you want to. But we're able to get players at all different times. That would kind of makes our show unique versus all these other shows. They can't do that. So we can get taped, we can get live, we can go on all day long if we want and have this thing rolling. By the way, I had a question, and I'll throw it out to you, even though you can't call in. You won't be able to call in until the season starts. But
should we give the number anyway, or
what is it? I even forget what the number.
Oh, I got it. It's right here. The playbook's reloading. I know it's 833 something. 625-2278. 833-625-2278.
You
Ray
call,
Jensen
I'm not
on top
there.
of it.
I'm not there now. I won't be there till opening day. But that is the phone
Robert
number.
Costa will answer the phone anyway.
Okay. Here's a legit question. And I'm just going to throw it out here, and I will throw it out to David Forrest on Friday. The key takeaway, so in Jim Bowden's article in The Athletic, and this kind of applies to Nick Allen, he gives the A's a C-plus grade. So he does the trades, he does the free agents, key takeaways and key questions for every team, and then the big picture. But his key takeaway is the A's are in the midst of a complete rebuild and have focused their acquisitions on athleticism and speed. Now, athleticism and speed, totally agree with. Midst of a complete rebuild, I question that. And you might think, whoa, Chris, what are you talking about? Of course they're in a rebuild. Are we sure about that? And I'm not talking about wins and losses. But rebuilds are a complete teardown, and you just have young players. You just go young, you go Astros, you go Orioles, you go young. You know the Astros kept Trey Mancini around, but for the most part, you go, yeah, we've seen the Rockies do it, where you just go full dumpster dive. You go and you go young. That's what a rebuild is. I'm looking at ages, and I'm looking at Diaz, signing Diaz, Ledmus Diaz to 2 years, $14.5 million. Is that what a rebuild team does?
Jace Peterson's 32, I believe, and Diaz is 33. Trevor May's 33.
Jace Peterson, I'm getting to that. Jace Peterson, 2 years. Is that what a rebuild team does, that age?
No.
Trevor May, 1 year. Ruzinski. Aguilar's what, 33?
33, yeah.
Chad Smith's not young, right?
I think Chad Smith might be 20. If I had to guess, I would say he's 29. I could be wrong. Let me.
How old's Manny Pena?
He's in his 30s. I think he might be 32. Chad Smith's 27. Manny is Manny's 35, going to be 36 in June.
So we added a 35-year-old catcher, 2 utility guys that are like 32, 33. Fuji's 29.
Yeah, Jace Peterson's going to be 33 in May.
So once again, I said this last year, and I was the only person saying this last year. As everybody said the A's were young, and I scoffed at that. I said, have any of you looked at the actual roster and the ages on the roster? The A's were not young. We were actually one of the older teams in baseball for the majority of the year until things really, really, guys got hurt and things changed. But for like the first 3 months of the season, we were not young by any stretch of the imagination. So is that a rebuild? Is a rebuild having a bunch of guys 28 and older? Is that a rebuild? Is that really the definition of? So I don't know the answer to what exactly the definition is, but to say rebuild, and I go, I'm seeing a bunch of 30-year-old guys added to the team. How's that a rebuild?
Yeah.
Is that a rebuild?
No,
that's not the definition, or let's just say this. It's not the definition of a traditional rebuild.
And you were mentioning it because we've been talking about it because we both started reading the book, Evan Drellick's book on the Astros. When the Astros completely tanked, they were talking about it in 2013. They literally added nobody. They had a payroll of like $26 million. They signed no free agents. It was just all guys and like all their young players. They didn't bring in older veteran players. Like a team that's truly rebuilding, and we don't use the word tank anymore in baseball, but truly tanking, they don't sign. When the Cubs are tanking, they weren't signing guys to big deals. They were banking on Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, who am I forgetting? Who else is in the Javi Baez, Contreras, like all these guys to pan out for them. They weren't signing 33-year-old free agents. So yeah, I think you're onto something with it not being a rebuild. I don't know if we call it a retooling or just adding to the roster. Or
I don't know what to call it. I'm just saying this whole it's once again people on the East Coast, people not on the West Coast, or people who just don't follow every team. It's lazy. It's lazy. How the A's are a young team. That's what they said last year. And I went, I don't know, man. I go down the roster. I don't see Jed Lowry's young. Steven Vogt's young. You know who I haven't even brought up yet? Tony Kemp.
He's
32.
Let's see. By the way, Ken Waldichuk's also going to join us.
Ken Waldichuk. He's been working on a slider.
Tony Kemp is 31, going to be 32 in October.
That's how many 30-year-olds do you need before you can say this is a rebuild? Give me the age for Seth Brown. He's what, 30?
Brownie is, somewhere around there. Seth Brown is 30. He'll be 31 in July.
All right. Off the top of my head, I just gave you at least a third of the team that's in their 30s.
Paul Blackburn's 29.
When does he turn 30?
He just turned 29. So in November. So not till November, I don't think it was.
I was trying to look at my Wi-Fi's. I'm trying to look up the A's 40-man roster. I'm telling you right now, if what you think this roster is going to be, at least there's going to be some positions that have to be won here. There's no question. But some guys, they're going to be on the roster. I can almost give you a third of the 26 guys are going to be in their 30s. That does not sound like a rebuild to me.
No, not at all. It just, what do we call it?
Why am I the only one that brings this up? Why does our guy Martin Gallegos, Kawahara, another national, no one brings this up. I'm like, I keep rebuild, young. What's young? Who's young?
The only people you really look at that are young are some of the younger starting pitchers, like a Waldichuk, Sears.
Waldichuk's not that young. How old's Waldichuk?
20. He's 24.
He's not 21. We just talked about Madison Bumgarner, 20 years old, pitching in the World Series.
Waldichuk is 20. He's turned 25 in January.
He's 25. Is that really all that young?
Sears is probably in his mid-20s.
Look at J.P. Sears.
I think he's
already pitched for the Yankees and us.
I think he's 26. Let's see.
Is that young? 26?
Oh, just turned 27.
Where are it's like I'm doing A's talk all over again, getting mad at callers. Well, we've gone young. What do you mean we've gone young?
833
Yeah, young would be if we've got 20, 21, 22, 20. No. We've got guys. We traded for our young pitcher, J.P. Sears, who's 27. Waldachuk is what, 26?
He's 25. Our next guest is going to be coming on. Shea Langeliers is 25.
This is a young.
This isn't Baby Jays. They're calling up Vlad and Biggio and Bichette, and they're all in their early
I don't want to
20s.
get angry. It's its first day of spring training. I shouldn't get angry. But I'm about to get angry because I'm tired of this narrative that just isn't true. It just isn't true. What is your definition of a rebuild? And then say, look at names and ages. Take your definition of rebuild in Major League Baseball. What is a rebuild? And then say, look at the roster and the ages of the A's and tell me that means it's a rebuild.
Yeah, a lot of the guys, there's no...
You can say you don't like the talent. That's fine. That's a different conversation. Everybody keeps using the word rebuild, and rebuild means super young guys.
That's like
we don't have super young guys.
That's like what Kansas City's doing, and I guess you can throw Washington in there and Detroit. Like those are rebuilding teams.
Yeah, it frustrates me because it's like, seriously.
I mean, the only other team I saw had multiple 30-something-year-old free agents is another team they keep saying is rebuilding. It's the Pirates when they added Santana and McCutchen, who are both over 35.
Oh, I didn't even mention Trevor Mays in his 30s.
Yeah, he's 33.
Over a third of our team is in their 30s.
Yeah, it's not a young team. We'll be able to break it down when Baseball Reference releases the average age, and we can see where we're ranked once the season actually starts.
Well, Shea Langeliers Cody's put the pressure on him already to be a 25-25 guy, 25 stolen bases, 25 jacks. It's sad the pressure you're putting on him, but it is true. We learned the one thing that we did not know about Shea Langeliers, that our good friend Fran Reardon, saw him today down in the clubhouse, who was the manager for the Las Vegas Aviators. He goes, this guy can really run. Like, not like run for a catcher, like he can really run. He's like fast. And his body type doesn't look like a guy who's got tremendous speed. Shea Langeliers is quick. So when you talk about, could this guy 20 bombs, 20 stolen bases as a catcher? Yeah, no doubt. And if he's as good as we think he is, he could be 30-30. And we talked to him about stealing bags. Now, the thing about him, too, it's about stealing bags and preventing stolen bases being a catcher. A lot to get into. It's going to be year 2 of Shea Langeliers. Think about this. He's a highly regarded prospect, played in the futures game. Then he finally gets called up. Remember that first series? He was fantastic against the Rangers. He grew up in Texas, not far from the ballpark in Arlington, had a bunch of family there. It was really cool. There was ups, there was downs, way too much DH. Of course, he had Big Murph, but, he's a guy that's got to catch every day. If he's really, this is the future catcher, and a lot of people think he is, there's a lot of things to talk about. Working with pitchers, the new rules, which he's experienced, which can help catchers. These new rules aren't going to have bigger bags, easier to steal bases, not going to help catchers. But I think the pitch timer will, but from a stolen base standpoint, I don't think so. A lot to get into with the A's catcher, Shea Langeliers. The A's catcher joins us as we're having a little fun. It's really windy here today. They were going to do their drills where they fire the ball up into the air and the catcher's got to figure out. Can you imagine in the wind today?
Yeah, that would have been really tough. Wouldn't have had a lot of fun doing that.
So how have you been since last time we talked to you?
Been good. Had a good off season, got married.
Congratulations.
Yeah, just, getting ready for this year. Really excited about it.
What a wild ride for you. You come up, it's in Arlington. You grew up in the area. You had all the family there. You finally get to the big leagues. You had the success. And then, as you said, you got married. Has there been a time where you've been able just to sit back and just reflect on what it was like last year?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, just a little bit on the honeymoon. We took a week and went to St. Lucia, and then after that, I had a week left, ready to go. So it was kind of that decompressed time that week. Spent some awesome time with my wife. Kind of just got away from everything, and then came back ready to go.
You know, when we think about you coming up, you know, a lot of DHing time. We didn't like that because we knew we obviously the dynamic with Big Murph, but I hate young players DHing. Is it nice coming into this camp knowing that I'm getting the gear on every day, we're catching, and DH will be more of a day off type deal?
Yeah, obviously, my whole life I've loved being behind the plate. There's just an aspect of being involved in the game and staying locked in, and it's really tough. You got to find a very specific routine that works for you when you're DHing, and obviously just way easier to stay in that flow as a catcher.
And when you talk about being comfortable coming into this camp, I know there's still, I should say there's a lot of new guys, but there's still the holdovers. How much more comfortable are you? You're not coming over in a trade. You now know where to go, all the coaches and everything. Just what is it like so far?
Yeah, it's way more comfortable. Obviously, knowing the guys, knowing the coaching staff, knowing where to be, when to be there. Last year was just kind of the first couple of weeks, kind of keep my head above water, kind of getting to know everyone, know my job, stuff like that. Came into this year, different mentality. It's time to go, and we're ready to go, and we're excited about it.
And now you're going to have this entire off season compared to you come to Oakland and you're immediately playing in big league games, right? Once you get called up, and you get called up and you're trying to win games. You don't know all the guys because there's something right about being a catcher of knowing what makes each guy tick, which guy's best pitches are in what situations. Is that going to be a lot easier for you now that you're going to get to know all the guys?
Yeah, I think for sure. That's the biggest thing is as a catcher, getting to know your pitchers, know their pitch arsenal, know their personality, know how to talk to them, stuff like that. And just getting that time in the last month and a half, 2 months or so up there, getting to know those guys and what makes them tick, their pitches, stuff like that. It's just going to make it mesh way easier this year.
And how important is it to get all the early bullpens in to still kind of like learn the new guys?
Yeah, it's super important. Take that time right before the bullpen starts. Talk to them what pitches they throw, where they like to throw it. I'm always like, if you want a different target, just let me know. I want you to be as comfortable as possible, things like that, and just kind of start that relationship from there.
And who are the new guys that you've caught that you've been impressed with?
Obviously Fuji's the big one. Love catching him. Steckenrider, and then I'm catching Rusinski today. So I mean, it's just like you said, a lot of new names, a lot of new faces, getting to know everyone.
Yeah.
Excited to get to know that.
Take us through the process of catching and communicating with Fuji.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly it's pretty easy. The translators they're awesome. They're awesome guys. They're easy to work with. We've had some good laughs with Fuji, and he threw a bullpen a couple days ago. He went 20 pitches, took a 2-minute break, 20 pitches, and then we just kind of hung out on the mound. Cots came over. We all had a good laugh. It's pretty comfortable. It's pretty easy.
How electric is the stuff?
It's really good. He's got some different variations of pitches that he's gonna throw when he wants to throw them, and it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, we got to interview him when he was in Oakland for the press conference, and big dude.
Yeah,
you realize he's like, I mean, he's almost like a defensive end.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I didn't realize he was that big. But standing next to him, you definitely feel the presence for sure.
So when you talk about the offensive side, what do you think you learned in your time in the big leagues offensively, and what did you think about and you want to change coming into this year?
Yeah, I think I first got called up last year. Obviously super excited to be there. I wanted to, do as much as possible and make an immediate impact, and kind of went through those ups and downs after that. And then the last 2 weeks or so kind of started to figure it out and felt more comfortable in my approach and stuff like that. I think I'm just going to build off those last 2 weeks this year. I'm going to take that mentality into each at bat and just hopefully keep growing.
I remember talking to you at the end of the year. You didn't want it to end.
I was ready to keep going.
And how about the influence of our old friend Stephen Vogt? It'll be interesting to see him with Seattle, but
Yeah.
What did he mean to you?
Everything. I mean, getting to know him in Atlanta the year before, getting to play with him the next year, it was very special. Stephen Vogt's he's just a great guy. He's a great ball player. He's just somebody you want to be around. He makes you smile. He makes you better as a player. He makes you better as a person. He's everything you want in a teammate.
Now, off the air, we were joking with him about stolen bases. We have you penciled in as a 2020 guy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you guys, so the pitchers, we can talk about from a defensive standpoint, but these pitchers are going to be freaked out about this clock. You're going to be on first. I think you got a ton of bags in you this year.
Yeah, I mean, we got used to the clock a little bit down in AAA last year. We got a couple months with it, and those base stealers really figured out how to take advantage of that. Like for Estuary Ruiz, when we played him in El Paso, he was a nightmare when he was first base. It was, if he had a single or walked, it felt like a triple almost out the gate. So it's going to be a big thing this year, and those base runners are going to be really aggressive.
See, I've been wondering, like, this is going to benefit. Obviously, it's not a benefit to the pitcher, but I mean, can the hitters really did you see the hitters? Because I know if I'm a base runner, I'm taking big leads to force you to throw over. Once I got you to throw over a couple times, now I got you. And I'm thinking as a base runner, I'm watching the clock too. Just take us through like the advantages, the big disadvantages, and the advantages.
Big disadvantage of the pitchers that like to take their times in between pitches. Those are going to be the guys that get guys are going to steal or try to steal a lot off them. Guys that move quick that actually can vary their times to home plate and they make it a little harder. Obviously with lefties, a lefty on the mound, it's a little bit harder to steal second. They can read whatever if you take off, but it's especially with righties, they're going to need to move quick in between pitches and get going, so that way they can come set with hopefully more than 5 seconds left on the clock to vary their hold.
It is going to be very interesting, and we're expecting a big year out of year. Thank you so much for stopping by. Yeah. We appreciate it in the cold, but good luck today and the rest of the camp. We'll see you back in Oakland.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Shea Langeliers. It's going to be one of those players, kind of like Nick Allen, watching him grow. Maturation of a young professional athlete. As I just went on my whole diatribe about how there's the older guys, there's still some younger guys, and these guys that you hope blossom, and they are the future for years to come, and they are controllable. There's no doubt about it. And, you wondered what was the future of the catcher position when the trade happened, when they made the trade with the Atlanta Braves that brought over Shea Langeliers. And that was in the Olsen trade. And when they brought him over, you kind of knew, well, obviously he's going to be the guy of the future. And even though you had Big Murph, that he was going to be the future. And you think about when you come in, that all of a sudden, he comes in and he's got to not only learn these guys, but he's got to try and win games right away. It's not like spring training where you get to learn all the pitchers and you play in these exhibition games and you do all of that. And then you go into competition. Shea Langeliers had to step right in as Ken Waldachuk joins us. I got to think as a catcher, that can't be real easy, right? Where you just come in midseason with a whole new staff and say, let's go get him at the big league level. Time to win. That can't be easy.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I feel like there's definitely a learning curve.
Yeah, let's put that right on. There you go.
But yeah, I feel like there's definitely like a little bit of a learning curve, especially dealing with different pitchers and how their stuff plays and what they like to do, what they're comfortable with. So yeah, definitely can't be too easy.
And I've talked about this. Of course, you're not listening, but I've said, at that last outing you had at the end of the season against the Angels, Shohei, that was a big deal. As much as whether anybody wants to downplay it or not, to me, it was a really big deal. You showed the stuff. You showed what you got. You knew you were pitching against Ohtani that day. Just how much have you reflected on that last game, what you did in your brief time in Oakland, and how you reflected on it, what you thought about that during the offseason?
Yeah, I think that last game, I didn't really have my best stuff, actually. I felt like everything wasn't playing as well as it did the start before, but I think it was a great learning experience for me to work with what I had that day. I felt like my changeup was on. I could just kind of lean on that the entire game. And maybe in previous starts, if I didn't have my best stuff, I might have tried to stick to the game plan, even though it wasn't working, like starts I had earlier that season. So yeah, I just felt like it was a good step in my growth as a pitcher.
And wouldn't you say that's what pitching is? You're not always going to have your best stuff, but you got to go out there and win with what you got.
Exactly. Yeah, you just have to adjust, and just try to keep them off balance and just throw strikes at the end of the day.
When you think about this spring training, what's the number one thing you're working on for your game?
I think the number one thing is just commanding the zone better. Not being too predictable, being able to throw whatever I want, whenever I want, and just try and keep them off balance and hopefully allow my fastball to play better.
Is there any specific pitch you've been really working on?
I've been working on a couple things. Just trying to throw my off speed a little harder. I know that I feel like they're already pretty different in speeds as of right now. But yeah, just try and get like maybe the slider a little harder, the curveball a little harder. And then from there just working on the command of those.
And take us through that process, that throwing things harder, but also doing it while throwing strikes. And as you said, having the command, you want the pinpoint command. Talk about that process of, yes, more velocity or maybe more spin or whatever you're trying to do, and also having better control at the same time.
Yeah, it's it's a process. I feel like in the beginning you're just trying to throw as hard as you can, and you don't really care about like what it's doing, and then you gotta try to throw as hard as you can to get to have a similar shape, and then that kind of leads into be able to throw that first strike. So, you're throwing it, say it breaks like 15 inches, and it does that every time. You're all right. Well, I can start it here, and it's gonna be a strike every single time instead of maybe when you're just learning how to throw harder and one's maybe 5, the other's like 18, and you're like, I don't know where this is going to end up.
Hitters love that. I don't know where it's coming from. I'm throwing as hard as I can. Two things that are going to affect, one thing's going to affect all pitchers, the pitch timer. Well, and also actually it is two things. And then the pickoff, you get 3. For lefties, though, it's a different deal. But first I want to start with the timer. You've already done it in the minor leagues. Is this going to have any effect on you whatsoever pitching here at the big league level, having to do it? Because you got experience once you got to Oakland, you didn't have to do it anymore.
Yeah. I think it's definitely an adjustment, especially for people that have a slower tempo. And that was me going into this season. So I kind of did go through that learning curve in the beginning of the year last year. But once you get used to it, though, I feel like it's almost not there. The only hiccup I think is if there's a guy on second and you don't like the sign, the catcher's throwing down multiple. But with the pitch calm, I think that fixes everything. So I don't think there should be too many issues.
Now, a lefty pickoff move traditionally is a weapon for you, and you like to be able to do it when you want, how you want. But now it's a different deal. How do you think that's going to play for you now at the big league level where you only got 3 shots at it or it's a balk?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty interesting. Especially they might try to draw those attempts out as well.
I would.
Maybe,
if I was a runner,
maybe like head fake or make it look
extra big lead. No, I'm going
really
back.
Big. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the biggest thing in controlling that is just holding them on. Varying your timings to the plate, being quick to the plate. And then if you have a hunch that they're going to go, that's when you break out that move, and then hopefully it doesn't end up using one of those chances.
So the cat and mouse game that I've been thinking about, because you already have enough to worry about with the hitter. You know the scouting report on the hitter. You know how you want to attack the hitter. You're worried about your process of getting the hitter out. Before, it was very natural just to look for you, throw over. Now you've got to think even more. How many times have I thrown over? Do I want to throw over again? Do you ever think about, hey, I can't have all this going on in my head. There's just way too much stuff going on for me.
I think that can definitely happen in some cases. But I think for the most part, it's just once you know that you can just hold them and like look at them and then lift your leg and go, and you know that unless like they get some ridiculous jump or you're throwing a pitch that's just impossible for the catcher to throw them out, you know that you're really in the driver's seat there and that you have the advantage, and you just got to trust that they're going to get thrown out at second.
Let's end on this, because the last time we had you on, we talked about St. Mary's and we talked about the trade and how excited everybody was to bring you over. And I can tell you for myself, for A's fans, we have high expectations of you because we think you can be a legit starting pitcher in baseball this year and be big for this team, help this team win a lot of games. What are your expectations going into this year?
It's hard to set a goal that's like what's a good way to put it, like a numerical goal. But I think the biggest goal is just stay healthy. Just stay healthy and just stick to what I've been doing. I think I've made a lot of good adjustments this offseason to address deficiencies that I had in the last shorter stint. But yeah, I feel fresh and I feel ready to go right now.
Well, we talk about Oakland as the land of opportunity, and you're a perfect example. You get here and you're going to get a shot to pitch every 5 days in the big leagues. It's your dream. It's your dream coming true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we appreciate the time. I know you had to come up, and it's been a long, windy day. It was pretty windy over at Fitch.
Yeah, very windy.
Hopefully it dies down, but thank you so much. We appreciate the time. And then the next time we'll see you is back in Oakland.
I hope, yeah.
We got more coming up next right here on A's Cast Live.
The Oakland Athletics begin spring training on February 25th. Now's the time to make plans to catch us in Mesa, Arizona, and enjoy the sunshine with your family and friends. Buy your tickets early for the best seats at the lowest prices as your green and gold take on the Giants, Dodgers, Padres, Angels, and more at Hohokam Stadium.
And Tony, it's a deep drive to right in the corner. Gritchick going back. He'll turn and watch it fly.
Get your tickets at athletics.com/spring. That's athletics.com/spring.
Humanity has accomplished a whole lot so far. We created penicillin, the automobile, and the internet, not to mention drones, duct tape, and the hot dog. It's all thanks to the power of human connections. And Ring Central's here to make that even easier, more seamlessly and securely, on a platform built to grow your business. Say hello to a whole new way to say hello. Visit ringcentral.com and say hello to possibilities. Ring Central. Message, video, phone, together.
Why could the banning of the shift have the biggest impact on the 2023 season? Enos Saris of The Athletic explained on A's Cast Live.
I've tried to look at that, and I think it might be the shift one. It's funny because if any one player may not be affected that much, but the game as a whole, I have one analyst telling me may add a run per game on each side.
Well, I'm hoping it's stolen bases, and I was listening to Dave Roberts, and he was talking about until players get incentivized, until they start getting more money to steal.
I do think that they do get paid a little bit for steals. Look at Aaron Judge, all of a sudden stole 16 in his walk year. Dansby Swanson stole the most he'd ever stolen in his walk year. They do it in their walk years a little bit, but they don't want to get injured in between.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
Unbeatable mileage from Chevron with Techron unlocks all kinds of unbeatable trips. Like to family dinner the next town over, or to a family wedding the next town over, or even to a family reunion over the river and through the woods at Grandma's house. Any drive is worth it to see Grandma, especially when you can stop along the way for unbeatable cleaning power from Chevron with Techron. Your engine will be thanking you for making the trip. Download the Chevron app now and find unbeatable mileage near you.
This is Chris Townsend for the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. Great news! Our indoor dining is back, along with our beautiful patio dining. Come taste our world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 83 years. The Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek has one of the most dynamic menus, plus a full bar. Pot pies, gourmet burgers, sandwiches, salads, flatbreads, and more. Don't forget, we still do takeout and delivery. For all the information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is a national brand with family-owned prices and service. You can shop at one of their Barrie locations, and all stores are sanitized and safe, or you can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Looking to stay up to date on all things A's? Head over to athletics.com/A'scast. That's athletics.com/A'scast to listen to A's baseball in full 24/7 coverage of the A's, only on A's Cast. With a single click, you can stream great shows, live pre- and post-game coverage, and of course, all the great action of the A's this season. Head to athletics.com/A'scast today.
A's fans, there is no better way to stay in touch with the A's and even our players than following us on social media. Just head over to athletics.com/social. That's athletics.com/social for a full list of our social coverage, from player accounts to Twitter handles and more. Now is the time to stay in touch. Head over to athletics.com/social. That's athletics.com/social today.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
Oh, I love it. Get Ken Waldichuk live. If you didn't notice, we had the camera over there. We're switching cameras. We're moving around. It's spring training. It's called versatility. It's what the A's need. We need guys that can play a bunch of different positions. We can do things all over the place.
Yeah, it's day one. New season. We're getting ready for it.
Talking about. That's what spring training is. You got to learn to play different positions. You got to learn to do different things.
I will admit it's different than when we're normally at the remote road studios where we have the ability to just switch back and forth between the cameras to do that. But right now we don't have that luxury. We're having a Wi-Fi issue, so we're using one camera. But hey, we're making it work.
Palatial estate, my palatial estate, where our multimedia studio, which is basically streaming, TV, and radio.
Yeah, we're making it work, though, with the one camera. Did it on the field when we were getting hounded by the wind. And the wind looks very kind of – no, never mind.
No.
As I said that, the wind picked up.
I can't eat. Okay, so just to tell – so over at Fitch Park, where all the practice fields are, they have this tower in the middle. If you watched our – shows that we did during fantasy camp, we were up there and it's awesome, right? You can see all the fields, you see everything. We were going to show you all the stuff going on today. Like, we were going to take the cameras and put them out on the fields. You get to see spring training, get up and be high, right? Great idea. Until we realized there's going to be 40-mile-an-hour wind. And you saw Ken Waldichuk. Hey, how's the weather over there?
Yeah.
Miserable. Like, I couldn't even believe we were attempting that.
Well, we're in here today. The window's closed.
Are we going to be able to do it tomorrow?
Let's check the old weather.
Because I want to be able to have cameras just focus. So you just see the drills, see the stuff going on.
I think the plan was the players would be done on the field by the time we'd get up there.
Oh, really?
That's why we were going to be able to be up there, because nothing was going to be going on.
Or just kick David Forrest out.
We should tell him that on Friday. We're going to start kicking you out when we're in the Crow's Nest going forward. It's supposed to be
get out.
It's supposed to be 57 tomorrow.
Oh, that'd be balmy here.
Winds south at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Oh, maybe it's just another day we're doing it in here.
This isn't your normal spring training weather, like bathing suit. I'm just telling him, hey, we've been jacuzzi, smoking cigars.
He texts me. He goes, hey, don't forget your swimsuit. I bring it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use it.
Be outside, hanging out the pool, None of that. My kids want to come down because they're off school.
Is this what they call a ski week?
They, I don't know what this week is.
Usually in California, they call it ski week. I have no idea what the hell that means.
I don't know. They're always off school. So my kids want to come down, right? And they were thinking about it. And then talking to them last night, they're like, Dad, I'm so happy you didn't come. That would have been the worst. So because you wouldn't be sitting by the pool.
Yeah, you'd be sitting in the room probably.
Yeah. You'd be going to like some desert museum here in Arizona, looking at fossils. That's what you'd be doing.
You can walk around the airport. It's the Phoenix airport, the friendliest airport.
Also
very large.
The tram out to the rent-a-cars is good. Got to say this. Ken Waldichuk might have the most upside out of all the pitchers, and that includes Fuji. Fuji's not a kid. Neither is Ken, but Ken's a lot younger. Ken has that because if Fuji goes out and has an unbelievable year, he's gone.
Yeah, let's not sugarcoat it.
He's gone. He's gone. Like, he's got him. We got him for a year. Let's enjoy it. Hopefully he goes out and he just deals and he's a monster and it's just great, right? That best case scenario. But we're not turning around and signing him to like a long-term deal. I mean, Ken Waldichuk, I mean, you're going to get excited. Fuji throws 100 miles an hour with the split. Yeah, I get it. But long-term for the A's, the guy that you're going to be, the guy that you need to look at to say, hey, the guy, we mentioned earlier today about Paul Blackburn. Someone's got to drive the bus for the staff. Your bus driver long-term can be Ken Waldichuk. He has that kind of stuff. And what I loved about that conversation, because I've said, hey, look at that last game. He's going up against Shohei Ohtani. It meant something because all the Japanese media was there. Everybody's saying MVP. Here's his last. He's showing, even though most votes are already in. But they're showing, remember the talk, MVP is going to show everybody why he should be the MVP. Ken Waldichuk went out and dealt. Pitched better than he did. Don't tell me for a young player that didn't mean something. It meant something. And he's going to sit here and tell you, I didn't have my best stuff. But he went out and won without his best stuff. That is called pitching. You and the rest of your people, you like throwers. You want strikeouts. I want to dominate. What happens when these throwers, not pitchers, as Scott Emerson says, I don't want minor league throwers. I want major league pitchers. What happens when your I'll call them major league throwers don't have their best stuff, don't feel good? What happens to them?
They don't pitch well.
My arm, this doesn't feel right. I know I'm on the IL now, and now I talk to my agent. I need guys who go out there and start. You're not always going to feel great. I'm not telling you to pitch injured. That's stupid. But you're not always going to feel like, man, I feel great today. Today, it's just coming out of my hand. It's electric. Some guys have gone out and had their best games, thrown no-hitters, said, I had nothing in the bullpen. I felt stiff. I was having trouble getting warm. Now you feel stiff and can't. They don't even start you. They take you out. They act like you're this precious commodity that, oh, my God. Which, are you really are you this precious thing if you're probably going to get traded anyway at some point? I mean, the fact that, you know what's so nice about baseball now? Everybody saves all of their young talent for them to go play for somebody else someday.
Yeah, I mean,
that is such a real statement. Until we get back to the days where guys spend their entire careers with one team, we essentially rest and baby guys so they can play for other teams.
God, who was the last guy to play? Jeter? Was he the last guy in baseball to play for one team? They retired recently-ish. Can't say Poppy. He was a Twin.
Not Pujols into playing for
he played for both LA teams.
It goes back to St. Louis.
Let's see. Beltre played for multiple teams: Mariners, Red Sox.
Beltre not even close. My God. Beltre left and went to the Mariners, and the Sox, and the Rangers.
I think it might be Jeter.
Might be Jeter. One guy, Mariano Rivera.
But yeah, I'm just thinking like recently and went into the Hall of Fame. Like I saw Rollins going in as a Cardinal.
So it would be Rivera and Jeter.
Yeah, 2 Yankees. So I mean, I guess that tracks. There really isn't anyone else that we can think of.
So think about it. If we know that everybody is not going to stay on the same teams, what I say it all the time. Why did we save Sonny Gray? Why were we so worried about Sonny Gray's innings?
Buster Posey. Sorry, there's thought of another one.
Yeah, Buster.
He
kind of retired early, but yeah, Buster.
And Mauer.
Mauer's now old.
Yeah, he's on the Hall of Fame ballot. That's it. Yeah, go big. Yeah.
I mean, isn't that a legit question? Why are we saving everybody when we know they're not going to be with us long term? The percentages. If the only 2 guys that have stayed with the same team in recent years is Mariano Rivera and Derek Jeter. That means everybody's moving. So why are we saving anybody for? We save Sonny Gray for what? Remember, we save Sonny Gray all the time. Oh, Sonny, we got to protect. What do we protect? What pitch? Let's go. Are you ready to go? You got to take the ball. I mean, that will always be at the, DeGrom's so great, huh? Well, major league thrower. When he's on and striking everybody out, ooh. When he's not on, 4 innings.
By the way, Sonny's still a Twin. Does anyone know?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if he was still there or not.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Now you make me second guess myself if Sonny's still on the Twins.
Yeah, he hasn't moved.
Sonny Gray. Yes, still with the Twins.
Yeah.
33 years old now, by the way, Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray, Yankee, Red, Twin. Do I ask the question again? What were we saving him for?
That's AJ Preller. He doesn't save any of his guys for anybody. He trades them all away.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason. Like Ken Waldachek, let's get as many starts as we can out of him. Why not 30? At least 25. He's young. He's healthy. Let's go.
I think the staff. I mean, if we can get a couple of guys to get that 28 to 30 threshold.
I'll give you another one. Fuji. If we know Fuji plays well, he signs big deal somewhere else. I'm maximizing Mount Fuji this year.
He's a good example. I'm trying to think if there's anyone. I mean, but Blackburn's on the team still. So, and you're hoping he gets 30. I mean, we saw with Cole. Where's Cole at now? Now he's started for the Orioles.
Hey, if you want to look at guys that have value, guys that give you 25 plus starts, they have value purely on volume.
Yeah, that's why Cole is so. That's why teams wanted him. I know.
And the Orioles, who lied about making major moves in the offseason, I don't know if it's a lie. They just finally ended the lawsuit between the two brothers. If you know, Peter Angelos, who owned the Orioles for many years, big-time lawyer. I think he was the one that was involved with the Exxon Valdez case and cases like that. He made a lot of money. He's like 93. He doesn't do the team anymore. It's his kids, and then his kids, something about passing the team down. And his kids were fighting each other. They just recently in court decided not to fight each other anymore. I don't know how much of that had to do with, because I think as an Orioles fan, you have to be very disappointed at, we've waited. You went and got the Astros guy. He tears it all down. We're going a la Astros. Finally see growth. Finally see a chance. Finally a light at the end of the tunnel. Finally a reason for me to actually spend my money on your product. And you then don't go for it. And then after you don't go for it, you then tell me, don't worry, the off season we're going to make moves because we're going to stay competitive in that AL East. And what they do? They didn't make moves.
No,
they didn't spend any money.
They brought Cole's like the big move they made. Because remember, Mancini and Lopez were traded last year. They won 83 games, which is great. I mean, they were well ahead of. They
now projected to be well under 500 again
and be last in the division, which is just. I get it because they didn't make any moves, and Boston made moves, and you still have Tampa and Toronto and the Yankees. But Cole was traded there because John Means had Tommy John last year, so he's going to be in. He's going to probably, you can pencil him in for 30 starts. That's what he did for the A's. 32, I think it was 32 and 30 starts. I think he'll have a nice year there with the Orioles making that many starts. In Baltimore, they have 8 prospects in the top 100, but they're not going to call. Well, they're not going to. Gunnar Henderson's already up, so I think we can say 7. They're not going to see. We're probably not going to see half those guys this year, and they're not going to trade them for major league talent. So, unfortunately, Oriole fans, I think they just got a little glimpse of how good they could be. Even the Astros, when the Astros finally got their tanking right, they won a year, then they had a down year, and then I think when they won the World Series, something like that. They made the playoffs, didn't make it, then they went back, went in the wild card game, something like that. They had an off year in between there, and I'm not saying that's what Houston's going to do. Although Mike Elias did learn from. I'm learning more and more about Elias and Sig Mejdal from the book, Evan Trellick's book.
And you're not liking what you're reading.
Yeah, they're telling me Sig Mejdal is a big people person.
Do you know?
I mean, we talked to him.
We had him on the show, and it was awkward.
Yeah, they said he loves to talk and he's real personable. And I'm like,
have you maybe he was this was at this early part of his Baltimore career. Maybe he was a little nervous.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't used to getting media requests.
Yeah. I mean, some people, you think they're in the big leagues. Not everybody deals with the media. Not everybody deals with a talk show host where all of a sudden you got a headset on, you got a camera on you, and you got to now talk. And you're getting questions, and people get nervous. And when people get nervous, they clam up. The brain starts working too fast, and they don't know what to say. And it's just a reality. So you get comfortable, and that's one of the things about being like a manager or a GM. You're going to have to deal with the media. You're going to have to deal with your people are going to be asking you questions, and if you don't have the ability to answer those and give good answers, people start to question, how bright is this guy? Who is this guy? Has this guy been, or how is this guy or gal, as Kimming has broken that barrier down? But, if they don't give good answers to questions, people start making judgments. Fair or not, people start making judgments real fast.
Yeah, I don't think Sig gets a lot of interview requests. And Michael Elias isn't a bad talker, but yeah, it's just when I read that he's a big people person, I was like, I can't wait till Townie starts reading the book and he reads these things.
Where do I need to go right now?
I haven't heard anything about Seth Brown, so we have Zach Jackson we can play.
Okay, because I was about to go on my one player you have to watch in camp. Should I save that?
I mean, the list is extensive.
And no, it's not my list. It's David Schoenfeld's list.
From ESPN, friend of the program.
I thought it, you know what? I'll just say this. He went out on a huge limb here as player to watch. If I said Angels baseball to you and you're thinking, man, most intriguing player on the Angels, who would you think? The most intriguing.
I mean, it's hard to not pick Logan O'Hoppe, the catcher that they got in the church.
Have they started an Irish pub outside the Big A yet in honor of this kid?
I mean, if it's not him, it has to be one of the 20 pitchers they drafted, right?
I'm serious. O'Hoppe, I'll help you. When they traded for O'Hoppe, I'm like, are you not putting or at least inside the Big A, put a sports bar, put a Irish pub, O'Hoppe's? I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I mean, this is post-career, but Kevin Youkilis, former Red Sox, opened Loma Brewing in Los Gatos in the Bay Area, and one of his beers there is called the Greek God of Hops. Like it's just so easy to do.
Is it this hard? Like you honestly cannot. Hey, we traded for this kid, and they think he's the future. He's probably pretty.
Yeah,
good.
He's pretty good. He's ranked pretty high there.
Well, you might your future catcher. You can't come up with. I mean, I'm an investor. I'm calling him, going, we need to start. Because this is when you start, right? You get in now when he's young. You use his name, O'Hoppe's, across the street from the Big A.
Yeah. Or in the ballpark.
Where does everybody go? We go to O'Hoppe's. And you get him now before he becomes a star catcher, and then you already got O'Hoppe's rolling, and now he's a star catcher for the Angels, and you're printing it.
Sorry, so if it's not him, it has to be my guy Joe Adell then, right?
Yeah, well, that was the answer like last 4 years. He has to put Shohei Ohtani.
Free agent year, walk year.
Is that got to be the most chalk answer of all time? I would even say Tyler Anderson is more. Hey, they need starting pitching. Tyler Anderson kind of resurrected some things in LA. Could he give you some starts? That's pretty intriguing. Ohtani is your intriguing guy.
Sorry, no. Seth Brown's going to come. We're going to Seth Brown tomorrow. That's what I was told.
All right.
So that's what.
Is there anyone else coming today?
No, not that I know of.
Okay.
But no, you were asking about Ohtani. Intriguing because of the walk here. I would say Trout's more intriguing because if he stays healthy, he could be a 50 homer guy, maybe.
Guy hit,
and he could maybe still 30 bags.
Off the top of my. I just put Zach Trout, for God's sake. I'm going to say Trout hit, and it's shocking. The number is shocking. Trout hit 44 home runs, 43 or 44. I'm going to say 44.
I think last year?
44. Shocking. You'd think there's no way with the amount of time he missed, especially early. Trout still hit 44 bombs, I would believe.
I think it was 40. But yeah, it was.
What is it?
He hit 40 home runs exactly in 438 at bats.
I was off by 4.
The guy still.
But you didn't even think I'd know that.
You
didn't even think I'd know that.
40 home runs last year. He has 350 career home runs.
But
already.
How many games did he play?
He played last year. He only had 438 bats. He played 119 games.
119 games, and he had 40 bombs.
I think he's pretty intriguing. I'm not going to lie.
We will go over this most intriguing list. So we're playing Zach Jackson.
Yeah, we can do Zach Jackson. And then after that, we have Soderstrom still.
Let's go over Zach Jackson's year last year. Zach Jackson had a 3 ERA in 54 games. Do I need to say anything else?
No.
I mean, Zach Jackson was a guy. He came from Toronto, right?
Yeah. Wasn't he a Rule 5 guy?
However we got him, he played in Toronto's system. He makes his major league debut at the A's, and we have no idea. We really had no idea, right? Good arm, not young. He was 27 years old. What do we get? What are you getting? And what'd you get? You got a 3 ERA in 54 games. I mean, that to me right there, other than the late injury, and he rang the bell when the time was ready to go. He made the post. 54 games, 3 ERA, your first year, and he started getting in some serious leverage situations. He had 3 saves, 48 innings, 67 strikeouts. This is when strikeouts matter. This is when, okay, all I want a guy to do is strike people out. When you're coming in for an out, 2 outs, 3 outs, that's when I'm all in, strike everybody out. I don't care how many pitches it takes. I don't care if you're doing it in 3 pitches, 6 pitches, 8 pitches. You're coming in, you're 1 inning, you let it fly. That's when strikeout. That's at the end of games, you want a guy just to strike everybody out. That's ideal. I don't want that for a starting pitcher because that means we now will only get him for 5 innings.
If that.
So
I
don't like that.
Yeah, no, I get it for relievers. It makes total sense.
Makes total sense. And it's always been that way. You always wanted a strikeout guy at the end of games. It's always been that way. And you look at his year, 67 strikeouts, 48 innings, 3 ERA, 54 games, 3 saves, 2 and 3. Doesn't matter. His FIP was 2.78. Take that. What was the whip? Where's his whip? His whip was 1.271. You want to be under 1.2. But yeah. I think for a first year in the big leagues, I'd say highly successful.
What was his ERA plus? That's all I care about.
I will not have that on it's 125.
Well, see, 25% better than league average. The guy who had a good year.
Well, I have the number for you. If everybody was a replacement player, the team would only win 48 games.
Yeah, that's about how many games they projected the Nats to win this year, pretty much.
So I think first year we would say thumbs up.
Yeah, for sure.
Excited about him. Has the future. You grow in this role. You grow in high leverage innings to learn how to do that, to learn to come out when you're coming out and fire's on and people are rowdy and it's towards the end of the game. And, those last few innings, especially the 9th and the 8th, these are the toughest outs to get because it's the finality of the game. I love people say, well, the biggest inning could have been the 6th inning.
High leverage.
The high leverage. Yeah. Okay, well, we all know in a football game when you're at the end of the game and it's not a blowout, but at the end of the game, those snaps seem to be a little more pressurized.
Yes,
right?
That's confirmed.
That 3-point shot in the third quarter versus the end of the game is a little different. Now, baseball sabermetricians want to disagree with you. That's why I like to use other sports. Those last 3-pointers towards the end of the game when the clock's ticking down versus the third quarter, even though This is what a sabermetrician would tell you if it was basketball. But that run that the Warriors had in the third quarter was the high leverage play.
They were always good in the third quarter. That was the big thing with the Warriors.
That was the high leverage. But then if the game's close in the fourth quarter, that's when those 3-pointers, taking those 3-pointers, it's different. It's different. Those snaps at the end of those football games when the clock's winding down. The end of game, it's just there's a finality. And yes, those high leverage innings can be huge in the 6th and the 7th, but there is something about those final 3 outs, really those final 6 outs. Anybody will tell you it's a mental game. And they're going to tell you it's pressurized. It's different. It is different. And I see this kid really kind of could be morphing into that, maybe more even this year. Danny Jackson will still be here.
Trevor May.
Trevor May. But I see Danny Jimenez. I call him Danny Jackson. Danny Jackson's the old left-hander.
Yeah, you combined them. It's okay. But in the 7th inning last year was his best. He had a 1.46 ERA in the 7th inning. But
what do you have in the 9th?
5.14.
Ooh, telling you, the pressure in the 9th inning's different.
Yeah.
You guys want to say it's not because you never pitched in the 9th inning, even though I only did it in college. I'm telling you, the 9th inning is far different than any other inning, and every pitcher will tell you that. Every non-pitcher who is a sabermetrics guy will tell you different. I don't know, who do I go with? I go with the guys who pitch.
Yeah, I was going to say real quick, high leverage situations, he had 29 strikeouts. And in 73 at-bats in high leverage situations, he struck out 29 guys.
You got to learn the role. You got to learn because, like I said, a lot of it's mental. How do you prepare when you're in that bullpen and there's stuff going on and you're the fireman, you're coming in to put out the fire? What's your heart rate? How do you stay in the moment? How do you not get out of control? You get out of control, you don't throw strikes. You get out of control. You not only do you not throw strikes, when you do throw strikes, you're not throwing good strikes. You know, what was one of the things that made Mariano Rivera great? And it's tough to compare anybody to Mariano Rivera. He was a cool, calm, deep breath. Did Mariano Rivera ever look stressed out on the mound?
No, never when I watched.
He was never stressed. That's the thing. It's like Goose Gossage could be raw, but we've now learned that, you know, when you're coming in and you're like that, Eckersley was not stressed, but deep down, as he's told us on this program, he was major league stressed.
Yeah.
Eck was a wreck on the mound. But that's the thing. It's like you need to learn how to come in and get people out and not panic and not breathe too hard and not get out of control is what I'm trying to say.
Mo in 936 in the 3rd innings in the 9th inning only had a collective 2.04 ERA in his Hall of Fame career.
But you need to learn. You need to learn the role, and it's not physical. Everybody's got the physical part. It's the mental part. Zach Jackson joined us earlier on the field right here on A's Cast Live. Reliever Zach Jackson, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
We're doing well. A little chillier than normal here in the Valley of the Sun.
Yeah, I think it's actually colder here than when I left home in Arkansas, so it was definitely bizarre.
So for you, what a year! I think you had to really step back this off season and go, wow, you accomplished a lot. You got to really where you want to be as a professional.
Yeah, I think that one, obviously, was just super glad to be, with this organization, finally getting my opportunity and, getting that chance last year to do what every kid dreams of. And then obviously getting an off season, to reflect on how that went, maybe get to reestablish myself again this year, but at the same time, just trying to make sure, that I take my routines in the off season, maybe put in that extra work this year so I can make it through the year healthy, different things that I learned this year that hopefully I can continue taking into future years and just keep growing.
Let's talk about the positives. What are the biggest positives you took away from last season?
I think there's a mental aspect of facing guys, you haven't got the opportunity to face, that you've been watching for years, and actually getting to face those guys straight up and senior stuff's good enough to get them out. I think from a confidence aspect, that's huge. I think seeing that my stuff played up there was great. You talk about, I guess, up until, September when I ended up going down with an injury. It was nice being able to, go out there when the team needed me, fall into a little bit more of a leverage role. And, for the most part, I feel like I did fairly well in that. So hopefully looking to do the same this year.
And also something for you is once you're in the big leagues, you're going to start facing the same guys. That can kind of change a little bit in the minor leagues. In the big leagues, you've now faced the Angels or the Rangers or the Astros X amount of times. And knowing that you can get the same guys out multiple times had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I think that definitely come like August when, you feel like you go in those stretches where it's like, all right, we're facing these division guys. It just seems like, it's just rotating over and over again. I'm facing the same 3 guys that I faced last week. And, that aspect is nice because it becomes a little bit of a chess game. And, they know your stuff, maybe some of the holes in their swings, and you really start trying to attack each other in those holes. And, it really becomes fun from that aspect. But again, it goes back to a confidence thing when you know that they've seen you before, you know how good of a hitter they are. You've seen them have success in this league, and to still be able to perform well against those guys that you're facing consistently is definitely a big motivator.
And then the offseason, would you think, okay, I could have done this better?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was not being able to pitch in September. That was obviously really frustrating. Rookie year, I was pretty happy with where I was at, and just couldn't quite turn the corner at the end of the year to try to get out there. But at the same time, I think the walk numbers obviously is something, this offseason, talking to, Cots and Emo and things that if there are things to work on, it's getting that number down. Obviously in the 8th inning, it's not something you want is to, let a guy on base for no reason when, if he beats you, that's one thing, but beating yourself is another. I think that goes back to, maybe that confidence, just being able to attack guys, no matter, who they are. I think those are 2 of the biggest things for me is, kind of prioritize my health this offseason, make sure I, refunction some routines that I did to make sure that, I could last the whole year this year. And also just making sure I'm attacking the zone, being aggressive, and just kind of letting my stuff play.
Yeah, it's so funny when you talk to people about, when you come in the game. You mentioned leverage innings, but also late in the game. There is something different about the 8th. You pitched in the 9th. There's something different about those outs.
Yeah. I think that definitely, obviously, just the stigma around the 9th, as a reliever coming up, it's like you want to close in the big league. It's like there's nothing better than that. But yeah, obviously threw in a lot of 8th innings. I know that, for a guy like Danny as well, who was younger, getting a lot of those 9th innings. And, it's just nice for us, again, going back to that confidence thing as rookies. It was something where we wanted to establish ourselves. We got that, confidence from Cots and Emo to go out in those situations. I think that was a bigger thing. And so I think kind of once we fell into that role, you have a little more adrenaline, and you just kind of want to go out there and succeed every time you can. But it definitely is different when you're having those 8th and 9th innings, especially when it's tie ball game where you got the lead.
I see closing in your future. Do you?
I hope so. Like I said, at this point, I'd realize that the guys we have back there, are all great. Hopefully seeing Danny back, he's looked healthy to this point. So I think all of us, if we're throwing leverage innings back there, having success, it's really tough to, root against each other. It's just trying to win ball games.
And let's end on this. When we get back to Oakland, we will talk some SEC football. And this year it's going to be like Oklahoma and Texas. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
Now, Oklahoma and Texas, they wrote the big check to the Big 12 to say, we're out of here. Is it just going to be weird the way the whole landscape is, especially your SEC, the way it's changing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how these divisions divide up. Like I said, I grew up an OU fan and went to Arkansas for college, so those are not games I'm looking forward to. Family's all big OU fans, so the whole aspect I was kind of upset about they're coming over, but it's significantly going to be the best conference in college football now, so I think that kind of solidifies it.
And it's crazy the money they're talking about, the TV money. I mean, did you see? Did you start to see what that was like when you were playing there? Like all this cash is coming in. The facilities are incredible.
Yeah, obviously, I saw it through the facilities, obviously. You see it through the fans, compared to maybe we play non-conference games in other places. I was obviously before NIL. I think that probably would have been the other aspect because even baseball is starting to fall into NIL money, and you don't really see that, hardly anywhere if it doesn't fall on, maybe like a social media star or something. So I think that is another aspect you look at. It's like, wow, baseball guys, are getting NIL deals, making money for the school, doing these kind of things. So it's definitely, I think, far and away kind of carrying away as the conference to want to be in, but obviously I'm a little biased.
Hey, we appreciate you stopping by. Great health this spring. Can't wait to see you back in Oakland.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
The Oakland Athletics begin spring training on February 25th. Now's the time to make plans to catch us in Mesa, Arizona, and enjoy the sunshine with your family and friends. Buy your tickets early for the best seats at the lowest prices as your green and gold take on the Giants, Dodgers, Padres, Angels, and more at Hohokam Stadium.
And Tony, it's a deep drive to right in the corner. Gritchick going back. He'll turn and watch it fly.
Get your tickets at athletics.com/spring. That's athletics.com/spring.
Humanity has accomplished a whole lot so far. We created penicillin, the automobile, and the internet, not to mention drones, duct tape, and the hot dog. It's all thanks to the power of human connections. And Ring Central's here to make that even easier, more seamlessly and securely, on a platform built to grow your business. Say hello to a whole new way to say hello. Visit ringcentral.com and say hello to possibilities. Ring Central. Message, video, phone, together.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
Some things just go together. Peanut butter and...
This is Chris Townsend for the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. Great news! Our indoor dining is back, along with our beautiful patio dining. Come taste our world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 83 years. The Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek has one of the most dynamic menus, plus a full bar. Pot pies, gourmet burgers, sandwiches, salads, flatbreads, and more. Don't forget, we still do takeout and delivery. For all the information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
It's that time of the year. Single game tickets are now on sale for the 2023 season. Secure your tickets for some of the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. From opening weekend against the Angels to the 50th reunion of the 1973 World Series team, to unique giveaways like Pit Viper glasses. There is so much happening at the ballpark this season. Don't miss out on other homestands as we take on the Giants, Padres, Yankees, Cubs, and Braves. Visit athletics.com/tickets to get yours now. That's athletics.com/tickets.
The Oakland Athletics begin spring training on February 25th. Now's the time to make plans to catch us in Mesa, Arizona, and enjoy the sunshine with your family and friends. Buy your tickets early for the best seats at the lowest prices as your green and gold take on the Giants, Dodgers, Padres, Angels, and more at Hohokam Stadium.
And Tony, it's a deep drive to right in the corner. Gritchick going back. He'll turn and watch it fly.
Get your tickets at athletics.com/spring. That's athletics.com/spring.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is a national brand with family-owned prices and service. You can shop at one of their Barrie locations, and all stores are sanitized and safe, or you can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Looking to stay up to date on all things A's? Head over to athletics.com/A'scast. That's athletics.com/A'scast to listen to A's baseball in full 24/7 coverage of the A's, only on A's Cast. With a single click, you can stream great shows, live pre- and post-game coverage, and of course, all the great action of the A's this season. Head to athletics.com/A'scast today.
A's fans, there is no better way to stay in touch with the A's and even our players than following us on social media. Just head over to athletics.com/social. That's athletics.com/social for a full list of our social coverage, from player accounts to Twitter handles and more. Now is the time to stay in touch. Head over to athletics.com/social. That's athletics.com/social today.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
All right, I'm going to come clean. First show. Is this like the first show of the season?
It is, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself. I've had some. These aren't even like, they're not even like mishaps that happen. It's just there's stupid things that I made mistakes on. I don't know. It's not like we take a break in the off season. And we're not doing a show. It's just
no. We do it year round.
I take full responsibility.
We're like
I own it when I'm wrong. I own it. Some people
round.
Cower and run away. I own it when I'm wrong.
This isn't Christmas and we show up one time a year. We're year round. Right?
I thought you'd play off me saying I always own it and calling everyone else out who never does.
You always own it, huh? By the way, I'm a big fan of Celsius. You tried it?
I tried it yesterday for the first time. Very good.
I'm a big fan.
Karate Kid, Ray, big fan of it.
I know Pepsi bought them. I wish they were a sponsor of A's Cast. Salespeople, get on it. Dave Cavill would say.
We're on it. Do I have it? Do I have it? I think I do.
We're on it.
There you go.
Wait, who did it better though?
I'm on it.
Was that me?
We're on it. I'm on it.
You know who listens? Guess who listens to A's Cast?
Well, you're asking me, but I know the answer.
I got to meet her on a Southwest flight from San Jose to Phoenix, or for some of you, Phoenix.
Is that what they say? Really? I don't know. I mean, I only come here for
some people say Nevada. Some people
Nevada
on the East Coast say Nevada. It's not Nevada. It's Nevada. Dave Cavill's mother listens to A's Cast. I got to meet her on the plane. She listens. I was like proud.
We're on it.
I was proud. Mrs. Cavill. Love it.
That was big when he told me, and I said, well, we're big in every age group. I don't get to, unfortunately, I can tell you where people are listening and anywhere in the country or the world, but I can't tell you what the age group is.
Mrs. Cavill is a listener of A's Cast. I'm very proud. I'm very proud. That was awesome. She's going to be here for, pretty cool. I lost my mom when she turned 70. And so for Dave to be here with his mom is real special. She's here for the week. So really cool for their family. Got to come clean. I don't know where we're going with Ruiz's first name. It's all over the board. I've heard Ruiz.
Estuary.
Izzy from marketing came by. Isabella does speak Spanish, and he said to her, Este Uri.
Sure. I will admit, I took years of Spanish.
Who was the last guy that everybody was all over his name too? We recently had a guy like that. We've had a lot of guys.
Well, there's only 64 of them last year.
There was somebody recently that the name was all over the.
It wasn't via my own machine, was it?
No, it was always Mark Canna, not Kanya. That's garbage. Canna. His parents belong to the same club I do. It's Canna. Este Uri. And the way she says it, she's got the Latin, and I'm like, I don't have that. She wrote it down for me. ESDA dash URE. Este Uri. Ruiz.
Okay.
And at first I'm like, Este Uri.
We'll hear. I'll pin it on when I hear Ken and Vince say it this weekend. First game Saturday.
Ken and Vince. We gotta get him to say it for us.
That's true. But I'm trying to promote our game on Saturday. First game Saturday, 12:05 Pacific, 105 here in the Valley of the Sun against who are we playing on Saturday?
The Valley of the Freezing.
It's a rhetorical question, Ray. The Diamondbacks. Torey Lavelle is coming to town.
We're going to be gone.
We can't even see Torey.
Our buddy's going to be here. Torey Lavelle, former A.
I'm glad Ray knew it, though. I'm glad he knew the answer.
Of who the first game was?
Yeah. It's like he writes the logs or anything.
Well, you have about what? What do you have, 15 teams down here?
Yes. And 15 in the Grapefruit League in Florida.
So if you have 15 teams, we're one of them. That means you had a choice of 14.
Yeah, but there's
I guess it Brewers.
But like Cleveland plays here.
I guess it's Seattle.
Cleveland and Cincinnati play here, though.
What?
If you didn't know, you would never think that Cleveland and Cincinnati played spring training in Arizona.
They've always.
I know, but if you were
Cincinnati hasn't, but Cleveland has. Cleveland was, my God, Ray Fosse. Ray Fosse told you all the stories from Tucson.
I know, but I'm saying, like, if you were just a casual baseball fan and you were coming to spring training for the first time, and you're like, why is Cleveland and Cincinnati here, but why isn't Houston down here? Because Houston does Florida.
Yeah.
And who's the other team that's Florida that's on the West Coast-ish?
Well, the Dodgers were always in Florida.
Now they are here. They share with the White Sox. I don't want to run down the list of the teams. I think we can name all 15 teams that play here.
Well, Kansas City used to be in Florida.
And they're here now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's the other one I'm thinking of. That's
Vero Beach was legendary Dodger town, but that was because they were New York Dodgers and they moved west, but they had such a connection with Vero Beach that they always stayed. All the Dodgers, all the great LA Dodgers still trained at Vero Beach.
If Pittsburgh's the Midwest, how come we're not here? But Cincinnati and Cleveland are.
The only East Coast team, and yes, I'm going to call them East Coast, Cincinnati's East Coast. They're in the Eastern time zone, right?
So is Pittsburgh. And Cleveland.
No, Pittsburgh's in Florida.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Cleveland's in the Eastern time zone.
Are they?
Yeah, they're both in the, yeah.
So the two Ohio teams, you take them out, it seems north. Kansas City's Midwest.
Yeah, they're mountain.
Central.
They're central, yeah. Both Chicago
Rockies
teams.
are mountain.
Chicago, remember, they used to be a Catalina years ago.
No, that'd be the Cubs.
That's what I meant. That's what I was talking about, the Cubs, not the White Sox.
But the Cubs and the White Sox are here.
You got
Cubs could really go either way.
Yeah, we got every time
Illinois could go either way, East Coast or West.
Every time zone's represented here, spring training in Arizona. Except for Hawaiian time, but obviously there's no team in Hawaii.
Yeah, there's no oddities anymore with spring training.
Yeah, no, not for us. I mean, I'm
No.
just saying I think a casual fan might be confused why.
Like it'd be odd, like if the Braves trained or
Hey, the Yankees are training. Well, it'd be traveling
Yankees are in
circus here.
Scottsdale. What? Yankees?
Can you imagine if Yankees were here? That's all we ever hear about. Well,
Oh,
hey,
my God.
every major writer will be like, well, we're only going to Yankees camp.
I guarantee you this: knowing the heartbeat of downtown Scottsdale, they would hate Yankee fan. If Yankee honk invaded Scottsdale, Arizona, to all the bars and clubs, I think Arizona would kick them out.
Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, would not be that. The Boston, the Northeast Met, Yankee, Red Sox honk, Yankee honk. Cheated the captain. That's not going to play in Arizona.
Yeah, no. And I'm looking.
Take your Yankee East Coast honk, you know what, and go to Florida, not Florida, Florida, as they like to call it.
That's true. I'm looking out here, and the wind's still kicking. But it looks like in the background here, it looks like it's raining, right? Or am I just?
It is raining. You can tell that's rain. They've been having rain off and on here. It's not your normal spring training.
I thought we were leaving the rain and all that crap in the Bay Area.
One big goal for each team. One.
So we're saving our intriguing player, right, from David Schoenfield's article.
I'm going to save the intriguing player because I ruined it all with Shohei Ohtani.
Well, you should have given.
And by the way, the Houston pick is just as bad. We should do our own list. These guys, these national writers are slipping.
I would gladly do a most intriguing player.
How many interviews do we have left?
The Soderstrom.
Oh, wait, I got to get to Tyler.
The Prodigy.
Keep all this for tomorrow. But what's the big goal? I want all of you. You know what? I've got the three of us here. We got all of you at home, whether you're listening or watching live, or you're going to download, watch later. Everybody, do your homework. Tomorrow on the program, we're going to do one big but reasonable goal for each team. This is the article by, who's it by? Friend of the program, Will Leach of MLB.com. It is one big. You hear, Ray, Karate Kid? You, Cody, everybody's involved. One big but reasonable goal for each team. We will have that for you tomorrow. No one tell your answer. We all have different goals. I know what the A's is for Will Leach, and it's very generic, safe. One goal, one big but reasonable goal for each team. We will do these yesterday. We will all present ours tomorrow on A's Cast Live, along with Will Leach, friend of the program from MLB.com. Whoa, what is that?
Sounds like a drill, maybe.
Something's going on.
Hold on.
What are you doing, Brody?
Oh, yeah, they're doing some work. We're literally right here. Looks like they're drilling.
Is it Brody? What are you doing? Brody Brazil. Brody is alive, folks. He is safe. He is good. Don't worry. Okay. I said it earlier. If there's anything that you need, that you say, what's the number one thing? What's the number one thing for this spring training, for the greater good of the Oakland Athletics? If we were doing our own stupid, what's the great thing for each team? What's the big thing? Tyler Soderstrom got to become the guy.
A lot of pressure already.
That's it. You know what he is? He's the next Giambi. And Giambi was the guy. Was Giambi not the guy?
No, he was the guy.
Was Giambi not the guy, the straw that stirs the drink back in the day?
You mean the left fielder, Jason Giambi, or first baseman, Jason Giambi?
Third baseman, Jason Giambi? Remember, when I played against Jason Giambi in college, he was a third baseman, and he was a butcher. He was awful.
Well, then they put him in the outfield, and then they're like, you know what? Let's just put him at first. And then Brad Pitt famously said in Moneyball, Giambi's the worst first baseman in the league.
But Giambi was the man. I think we've heard that before. Giambi was the man. And he's the type of guy that you could build a lineup around. Jason Giambi at a time. I know. There's things that were involved in. I'll just say this. Before the Giambino was all Roydbino, Jason Giambi in his early days in college, I don't know when he started technically using performance-enhancing drugs. I don't know. But like I said, I played against Jason Giambi in college. Giambi, 2 at-bats. Struck him out on a Saturday, gave up an 8,000-foot home run to him on a Sunday.
That hasn't landed yet.
Hit it over the batting cages. That's how bad it was. I might have supplied the power a little bit. But he's 1 for 2 off me. But he wasn't what we know as Jason Giambi as A's fans. That's not what he was at Long Beach State. Even though he was already known as one of the best hitters, he was on the Olympic. They were Team USA at that point, but it wasn't an Olympic year. I don't think. I can't remember, but it was a bunch of those guys to where like Mark Kotze was on the Olympic team. He was in an Olympic year when they were all drafted. Remember, Kotze's told us a story about when he got drafted, all those guys on the Olympic team were getting phone calls. Hey, come down the hall. Your turn. But Giambi was, as a big leaguer, Giambi was incredible. Giambi made it to the big. We talk about young. Even though Giambi was a college guy, he was in the big leagues at 24. Played in 150 games played in 140 games by the time he was 25. You just look at these years. 20 bombs, 20, 27, 33, 43, 38, 41, 41. I mean, he's Jason Giambi. RBIs, massive double numbers. The only guy who's the only guy that could take down Jason Giambi in doubles?
Back then, or just overall?
Overall.
Oh boy, there could be a lot of guys.
No, just one guy. It's only one guy could take Jason Giambi down to doubles.
I don't know. You have to tell me. I'm not going to venture a guess.
The great Jed Lowry is the only guy who could topple Jason Giambi in doubles.
I was going to say Lyle Overbay. He was a big doubles guy.
So I'm looking at A's history. That would be the great Jed Lowry.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
So Giambi's career, I mean, when you got a guy, and it was his second year was actually better. He had a better year the year after he won the MVP, but 01 was Ichiro, right?
Yes, rookie of the year. And
okay, so Giambi in 2000, the year he won the MVP. Is this a good year? Hits 333. I don't care about batting average. Oh, okay. He hit 330. Mike Petriello, who tried to school me when I said, hey, look, this guy won MVP. Guys today don't hit. Just because you win. Guys, MVPs now don't hit for batting average. Mookie Betts hit, 342 when he won the batting?
Aaron Judge hit 300 or 290.
For some reason, Mike Petriello likes to think that nobody hits for batting average anymore because he doesn't think batting average matters. But yet, yes, MVPs still do hit for average. Jason Giambi hit 333. Is this a good year? 333, 43 bombs, 137 RBIs. He had 108 runs scored, 43 doubles, a OPS of 1,123. You seem to like OPS plus.
Yeah, it's a good measurement.
He was 187.
That's actually not good, or that's actually pretty good. Not good is the wrong way. He was 87% better than the league.
Total bases 330. It goes on and on and on. Then follows up the next year with even a better year. You want to talk about fraudulent voting, giving Ichiro. Giambi goes out the next year, hits 342, better than 333. He's down in home runs from 43 to 38, down in RBIs 137 to 120, but he's up in OPS 1,137. His walks, he led the league in walks both times. He hit 47 doubles that year. 47.
That's pretty impressive.
To go with that kind of power, it was incredible. That's the kind of guy Tyler can be. That's what they think. I mean, this guy's a prodigy. His dad was a big leaguer. He's been dominant. He's first pick. First round high school kid. They wonder, well, he's a catcher. He's a good-sized kid. Will he be? Not everybody's a first round. Not everybody's the first overall pick in the draft. There's only going to be one guy. Everybody after that, you're a first rounder. And Tyler, out of high school, some people prefer college guys. Some people, but when you go in the first round, you went in the first round.
Yeah, agreed.
Mike Trout was what pick?
20-something.
Yeah, I mean, you're a first rounder. You got first round talent. When you're a first rounder, you are on everybody's board. That's what the whole thing about J.J. Bleday is. Bleday went 6th.
Yeah.
So J.J. Bleday.
No, 4th.
4th?
Puck went 6th.
So J.J. Bleday at 4th was on everybody's. He's at least on everybody's board for first round talent.
Yes.
There's no doubt. Like he was
a great hitter, Vandy.
Everybody recognized Tyler was a special kid for his age. Everybody knew it. Tyler is the number one guy in camp because he is, when you look at the biggest upside, the one guy, Townsend, who can be an all-star, who can be an MVP, who can lead this team back to glory. It's Tyler Soderstrom. I don't think there's any question about it. And we caught up with him earlier today here at Ho-Ho Camp. Joins us here on A's Cast Live. We all know his projection and what we expect coming up here in the future. Former number one pick for the Oakland Athletics out of the Central Valley. How are you?
I'm good, man. Yeah, pleasure to be on.
Yeah, it's great to have you again. A lot has changed since the last time we had you on. You were just coming out of high school. You just got drafted. Talk about the difference from the last time we saw you to what we have now.
Yeah, man, just got drafted out of high school in 20. So, I've got matured a little bit, definitely got a little bigger and stronger, a little bit older. So just got more comfortable in the organization. It's been a fun ride.
And it's been an interesting ride, especially for the guys of your era. And hopefully we'll never see it again. But, with COVID hitting and then all of a sudden you're at the alternate site down in San Jose, it wasn't your average start of a career. Have you been able to grow from I would say that strange time?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Everything happened so fast. I got drafted, and the next thing I know, I'm up in San Jose with all these guys that have been in AAA and up and down the big leagues for a long time. So it was definitely a learning experience for me. I got to learn a lot from it, being around those older guys so early in my career. So I think that definitely helped me. It was pretty crazy. Like, you go from the alternate site to be around all these older guys, and I started my career off in Stockton. I'm back with, so it was kind of like a
young guys,
back with a young guy. So it was like, it was kind of a different feel, but I got used to it, and it was good. Yeah.
So being around those guys, talk about how that really helped you, not only from a catching standpoint, catching all those veteran guys, And people need to know that his father, former big leaguer, I played against your dad in college. You've been catching and playing with a lot of older guys, but here you were playing with guys that had some big league experience and then hitting against those guys, what that meant to you.
Yeah, it was definitely, like I said, it was a great learning experience for me. I was super young going into it. Hadn't really caught out of high school, so it was definitely a learning experience there. Had to learn how to slow the game down. It's definitely way faster than high school baseball, so I had to kind of learn how to slow the game down. Definitely work on some minor things like my blocking and receiving. So I've worked really hard on that stuff. So that stuff's come a long way. And the hitting side of it, I've always been a pretty simple hitter in the box. I like to just slow stuff down, and I kind of use that approach there, and it went well for me. Saw some pretty good success for my first kind of stint in pro ball, so it went good, yeah.
Now, we talk a lot about where are you going to end up. So we want to get it from the horse's mouth. What do you think? Is it first base? Is it catcher? The bat's going to play. We know that. That's why you're going to have a long career in the big leagues. But where do you want to play defensively?
That's the thing, man. Like, I feel me as an athlete, like I feel really versatile. I feel like I could contribute anywhere. I love doing both of them. Honestly, I mean, I love catching. I love playing first base. So, I mean, I would be happy to play either position, man. So I'm just kind of here to take little things here and there and just keep getting better at those positions. And I mean, I would love to catch in the big leagues. I'd love to play first in the big leagues, and I'd also love to hit in the big leagues. So wherever the A's want me to play, I'm going to play and just be happy with it.
Well, and also the thing, you're athletic enough. I remember we talked to you, played some shortstop. You can play outfield. I mean, is there really anything you can't play?
I don't think I could play shortstop in the big leagues now.
Good challenge, Nick Allen.
Yeah, no, I think Nicky's got me there for sure. He's pretty special out there. But yeah, I think I could handle any corner spot on the infield, and I think I could definitely handle catching too. So yeah.
So a lot of possibilities for you. So what is the key goal for you in this camp?
Obviously, I want to get to the big leagues as quickly as possible. So I want to have a good spring, make the decision a little harder for him, obviously, and just push my way up there as quick as I can. So obviously learn from the older guys as much as I can, keep taking stuff from them to help me become a better player, and just get to the show as quick as can.
Yeah, I like that. Make them make a tough decision.
Yeah.
Sure. I love that idea, because I know for you, you've done AAA, right? I mean, do you feel like you have much left to do in AAA?
I mean, I was only there for 2 weeks, realistically. I felt super comfortable up there. I know it was towards the end of the season. So, I mean, honestly, I feel like I can handle anything right now. I had a really good offseason, put a lot of work in. So I feel really strong right now, really comfortable in all aspects of my game. So I'm excited to get the spring going and just see where that takes us.
What do you think you learned most this offseason?
It was actually like last offseason, I kind of had that oblique thing going on from my first pro season in Stockton. So it's my first healthy offseason. So I kind of had to learn how to balance all that. So it was actually really good to have a good, full, healthy offseason, though, because I was able to get all my work in. I was able to start hitting a lot earlier than I did last year. So it was good.
Well, that's something also that you start to learn as a professional. You're playing more games than ever before.
Yep.
There's the mental health, the physical health. Yep. How do you take care of yourself in the off season? Yep. Do you think you've now settled into a nice routine, or at least established a routine?
Yeah, definitely. I think I definitely have established a good routine. Like, the most important part is staying healthy. That's the hardest part, I feel like, in my opinion, just to stay healthy and be able to get on the field every day. If you can be on the field every day, I feel like you're going to put yourself in line to succeed, because you're going to be consistent. You're going to be playing every day. Your bat's going to feel good. You're not going to go lose 2 weeks and then have to kind of work your way back. So it's good. So I think I've just established staying healthy is the most important part. And I think that goes into a lot of your off-season training. You got to really have a good worth ethic in the off-season to kind of keep your body healthy through the season.
Has there been a veteran guy that you've become good friends with, that you pick his ear and you've learned a lot from?
Obviously, I mean, Murph was really good to us all last year. He always helped us in anything that we need, whether that's kind of learning how to do scouting reports and stuff like that. I know we have Shea now. He's been up there with a little experience. We have Manny, who's been in the big leagues for, I think, 8+ years. So he's helped us a lot too. So it's obviously a pretty younger clubhouse in there this year. Yeah, I mean, obviously me and also Dalton Jeffries, same hometown. He's been there and done it. So I've definitely taken a lot away from all those guys.
Did you go back home for the winter?
I did. I actually spent some time down here in Arizona this year, but I went home for Thanksgiving, Christmas, went to Tahoe for New Year's with some of my friends and family, so it was good.
Oh, living the good life, not bad.
Yeah.
Does your dad still have the school down there in the Central Valley? Is that still going?
Yeah, he's still doing the Backyard Sports Academy. So yeah, he spends a lot of time doing that, helping out the local kids, and it's not it's more of the on the younger kid side. It's not real like high school orientated, but we have like little wood bat leagues that they do in the summertime, and they do soccer and basketball and a whole bunch of other stuff down there. So it's good.
Well, I can tell you a lot of people are looking forward to seeing you in an Oakland A's uniform really soon. So hopefully they do have to make that tough decision.
Yeah, hopefully they do. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for coming out into the cold. We appreciate it, and
anytime.
good luck. And hopefully next time we see you, we'll be in Oakland.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
Take care.
You too, man.
I'm telling you, I'm not overselling it. That is one confident kid. And that's what you want. Confidence is such a huge part of being a successful, long-term professional athlete. It doesn't matter what sport you want to talk about. You want to talk about your precious NBA and your Golden State Warriors? Let me tell you something. Steph Curry has all the confidence. Klay Thompson has all the confidence in the world. Did anybody have more confidence than Barry Bonds? No. He was Barry Bonds, and you're not, as Sports Illustrated once said. You know the confidence that Joe Montana and Jerry Rice had? You know, you think of the great players. I mean, you go to Rick Barry. My God, Rick Barry had all the confidence in the world.
I could not care less.
I mean, that's what the great ones have. They've got this confidence. They ooze it because there are going to be times where you struggle. But you know what? They overcome that because they have that belief. Say this all the time. Do you really think, and I know they try and say this, and I think it's laughable. Do you really think that Michael Jordan was so superior body-wise, especially early on when he came into the league, than anyone we've ever seen?
No.
People act like that. You're like, okay, MJ was 6'6".
That wasn't that big at North Carolina.
He was 6'6" and skinny. Now, as he was getting beat up by the Pistons, he started working out and getting bigger. But even that, there are guys like Dominique Wilkins is a better dunker and athlete than Michael Jordan. Dominique Wilkins was amazing, but he wasn't Michael Jordan because it's mental. Michael Jordan's a killer. He's one of the greatest killers in sports that we've ever seen. Tiger Woods. Everybody thinks Tiger Woods hit the ball. No, he didn't. John Daly led the John Daly, two-time major winner, and obviously everybody loves John Daly. John Daly, during that Tiger run, still averaged the longest drives on the PGA Tour. He was not the longest guy.
No, it's Bryson DeChambeau, right? Well, when he actually performs.
Well, he's on the live.
Yeah, when he was in PGA.
But no, now do you know the other night I was watching the European Tour. I had it on because of Pebble, but then I turned it on and my TV was on it. There was some kid on the European Tour hitting at 340. 340. That's 3 football fields and 40 yards. That's where modern sports is. Modern sports is the way biomechanics, we train, health, mental. That's what makes great ones great. It's just not the physical ability. It's mental. Everybody. Michael Jordan, 6'6", man. 6'6" is not big, not crazy. That's kind of pedestrian in the NBA. How tall is Klay? 6'5", 6'6"?
I think, I thought he's 6'7". Klay Thompson is 6'6".
Like everybody thinks Michael Jordan's, because Michael Jordan's so great, everybody thinks he's this. No, he's the same size as Klay Thompson. Michael Jordan was not a massive man. He was just a great athlete, yes, but it was the mental side and the toughness and the will, that the Al Davis will to win. Everything Al Davis talked about, Michael Jordan had. That's what he had. That's what made him great. He wasn't great because of physical. Oh, he flew through the air. Man, everybody flew through the air. Larry Nance through that time period. You don't think Dr. J flew through the air? Dr. J was the first one to fly from the free throw line. Right? Larry Nance was a great dunker. And there's all kinds of guys who are great dunkers, but they weren't players like Jordan.
Yeah.
The whole point is the confidence. You got to have the confidence. You got to have the belief that you can be great, that you can be that guy, and that you have that belief. So when it does go bad, you overcome it. You absolutely overcome it. And that is what this kid, I think, has.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. I mean, I had his stats real quick before we go. In between 3 levels last year, high A, double, and triple A, he had 29 homers, drove in 105 runs, hit 267, had an 825 OPS, and 134 total games between the 3 levels. Pretty good.
And how old is he?
He just turned 21.
That's what I'm talking about, folks. The real legitty guys, they're legit. They come up early. They're not sitting there at 26. They're coming up 20, 21, 22, ready to take your lunch. This kid will be in the big leagues this year. Dermis Garcia and Ryan Noda better hit, because if Sodi is down at AAA banging them, they're going to have to bring him up. Like, the radar, you can't hide him anymore. You can't hide him. If he's with Fran Reardon, he's banging balls off the wall and balls over the wall, and he's playing first base, it's like, sorry, guys, here's your first baseman for the next 15 years. You want to talk about a guy to sign up long-term? This is the guy.
Yeah, for sure. And we're seeing a lot of teams start doing that now with guys anyway.
Because think about it. No matter what, by the time you bring him up, all right, I can just use the old Chris Townsend calculator, right? If you're going to start his clock in 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, the ballpark thing will be decided this year. Sooner than you think. And they will have to build it. So he actually will be, by the time he would actually be a free agent, there is the new ballpark.
Yeah, I was going to say that it tracks that. It seems like the timeline is good.
Yeah, he actually, to where Olsen and Chapman unfortunately didn't. Chapman turned down the contract.
Yeah.
Which we'll see if he ever makes $150 million. We'll see. He's in second year of his deal with Toronto.
Did he sign a deal?
Last year he signed a 2-year deal.
Oh, that's right. So he's a free agent after this year then, right?
Correct.
Free agent. Yep. Yeah. Making 12 and a half.
Will Matt Chapman's free agency affect Manny Machado?
He's going to be 30. I'll take Machado.
You're going to take Manny Machado over Matt Chapman?
Is that really a question?
Can you believe that, A's fans? Because I was told Matt Chapman's the greatest third baseman we've ever seen.
I'll take Manny Machado.
You take Manny?
I'll take Rafael Devers.
You
want me to keep going?
Wait a minute.
Keep Ryan Hayes.
No, I am not taking
He's very good on defense.
Brian Hayes signed a deal and then did not have a great year.
It's all right. He's still young. Hey, I'm just glad the Pirates signed him.
I'm just going to say this. If you sign a deal and then do not back that up in the first year, it's a bad sign.
Well, we'll see. Still plenty of time left. Austin Riley, I'll take him.
I would in a second. But you told me he wasn't that good when I said I kind of like him. By the way, great stuff. I don't have my folder with me. I wrote it down. They broke down Manny Machado's contract on the front office show. Bowden and Duquette, Jim Duquette Friday here from Hohokam. We're making this like a tradition now.
Yeah.
Having Jim Duquette here, former GM now on Sirius XM.
I mean, he ended the text with "See you soon" with exclamation points.
So, they broke it down. Manny Machado's offer, because what you got to do is you got to take the 150 that he's owed, that he's going to opt out of. So it'll be 150, right? They offered him 105. So that would be $255 million.
Yes.
He has 150 left.
Yes, your math is correct.
Then they gave him 105. That's 255 million.
They're 145 million apart from what he wants.
But to be honest, like you gave Xander Bogaerts, who's 30. Manny's going to be how old next year?
I think Manny is 30 right now.
No, Manny's not 30 yet.
I think Manny is. Bogaerts is
30 or 31.
Bogaerts is 30. He'll be 31 in October.
So he's going to be 31 this year. You just gave him 11 years.
And Manny Machado is going to be 31 in July.
31 in July. Okay, so you just gave Xander Bogaerts at the same age 11 years. 285 million or something like that?
I think it was 280.
I could get it for you, but I'm not. All right. And you're going to offer Manny Machado less than that?
Doesn't make sense. You know what the thing was, too? And it kind of irked me. I don't know if you listened to Buster's podcast last week. Everyone in Boston's up in arms. How could you give Justin Turner Bogaerts' number?
No.
Number 2, and Buster's like, yeah, that doesn't sit well with me. He's a guy that could be a Hall of Fame. But I'm sorry, when I think of Hall of Famers, I don't think of Xander Bogaerts. No offense to Xander. Although he does have 283 career home runs. But I'm sorry, like it's not that big of a deal they gave up his number. It's not like he's Carl Yastrzemski or Carlton Fisk or any ex-Red Sox legend they gave the number away to. I mean, I don't know. I hated that they were like, it's not like, and Justin Turner's a good player. It's not like they gave it to some random guy they called up from the minor leagues.
The whole number thing, guy's gone.
Yeah, the guy left.
Guy's gone. You're not here anymore. Your number's up for grabs. Sorry. I can't even believe that. That's dumb. That is like literally dumb. Xander Bogaerts signed a contract, and it's Boston's fault. They should have done a better job, but whatever. He's gone. I'm giving it. Who wants his number? That ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. If you even bring that up, that's dumb. See, that's why you listen to this program. You're not going to hear that idiotic fanboy stuff. That's fanboy stuff. You can't give him his number. Like, what? Get out of here. Anyway, so Bogaerts, 11 years, 280 million.
Yeah.
You're going to offer Machado, his deal will be, and remember, Machado is still not 31 yet. You'd be signing him now at 30?
Yeah, if you sign him right now.
So it's a year younger for 255?
That doesn't make sense. I'd rather have Machado.
And then you start looking at what like Carlos Correa was offered originally, and you look at what like Judge signed for. Now you start talking about that's a difference of almost like $80-something million.
Yeah.
So maybe Manny Machado has the right to go, wait a minute. I signed here. I turned this franchise around. I became the leader. Other people wanted to play here because I signed here. Took this team to the NLCS. And now you want to shortchange me when you're offering you Darvish what? Musgrove what? You're Austin Tatis what? And now Bogart, and you're going to offer me. So maybe Manny had all. At first, I think we kind of dogged him, going, "Do you really need to come out first day and say I'm going to opt out?" Maybe he does. You're that disrespected. Xander Bogaerts is not the player Manny Machado is.
No, I agree.
And you're going to offer me less money and less years? I might be saying, I'm opting out too after this year. And let everybody know. Now, DeGrom did it, but I think Manny's a different deal.
Yep, for sure.
DeGrom did it while he was hurt. Oh, I'm going to opt out. Oh, okay, so we're not going to get the 11 starts or whatever he had?
38 in the last 3 years.
So maybe Manny has the right to be a
he
little
has the
angry.
gravitas to do it.
He's got the cojones, and he deserves that. But yes, Sodi is the guy. That's the guy to watch. And we're going to sit here and go, hey, what's happening at first base? But I'm not going to be shocked by anything of when Tyler Soderstrom is sitting here in the big leagues ready to rock. And next thing you know, it's Tyler Soderstrom Jersey Day. Then it's Tyler Soderstrom bobblehead day. And then he's the future guy. I mean, that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah, you said earlier.
There's other guys here that are going to be good players. But you want to talk about who's got a chance to actually be a star? Who can be in the All-Star game? Who can be a guy that you go, man, the A's got – when they go, hey, who the A's got? The A's got
Tyler Soderstrom.
There you go. He's the guy. And that could be in the next couple of years. And once again, when he will be a free agent, there's got to be a ballpark. It's got to be. There's no way there's not.
Well said. I mean, he would be a free agent for another. You call it just so is it 6 years, 6 years when your clock starts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2029.
There's no way.
Yeah. In 6 years from now, I'll be 40.
Worst case scenario, the ballpark is almost built.
Yeah. I'm going to be 40 years old in 6 years. There better be a ballpark.
I mean, if we don't have ballpark in 6 years, I mean, Jesus. That is going to do it from our first show, really, of the season, first show of spring. We want to you run down the list. I can't.
We want to thank A's All-Star Paul Blackburn, Nick Allen, Zach Jackson, 2020 Shea Langeliers, no 25-25, sorry. Shea Langeliers, Ken Waldichuk, who what do we throw at him?
25 starts.
I thought I threw some outrageous number at him for.
Yeah, I'm not going to allow you to do that. We're going to call him Waldy 25. Waldy 25.
Who else do we have? I said Zach Jackson, Tyler Soderstrom. Am I forgetting someone? Allen Blackburn, Soderstrom, Waldichuk, Jackson, Langeliers.
There you go. Got you covered.
We'll have Seth Brown tomorrow.
No one's going to cover spring training like us. Come on. And then we get you covered and we'll get you going. Got all the topics, got everything you need to know. And then boom, Saturday, Ken, Vince, Johnny, A's baseball starts.
Yep. It's at 12:05 Pacific, 1:05 if you're here in the Valley of the Rainstorm.
Yeah, we're just leading up because once you don't need to do all of this once the game starts. The games speak for themselves.
Also, a little forward promotion starting next Monday. We'll be on 2 hours before every A's spring training game. So we'll be on at 10 a.m. on Monday.
Well, I'm going to have to go change some tee times.
Yeah, so.
You're going to mess with my golf game with that.
Then after the time change, we'll be on at 11.
Ah. When is the time change?
Like a couple weeks from now. I think when you come back down here, I think the time change is happening.
Yeah, I got to come back in March.
It's only a couple weeks from now.
That'll be 3 Arizona trips before the season starts.
That's 3 Arizona trips in a row. Each month you've gone to Arizona.
Yeah, wow. That's a lot.
You want to come and watch the D-backs play in April?
Yeah.
Wait, they're coming to Oakland, so we can watch them then.
Can you imagine working for the D-backs? Can you imagine trying to sell the D-backs?
Their future is very bright. So that's what I've been told.
No, but you'd have to be the person that I hate. I'm so stoked. It's so great. It's Arizona. It's the D-backs. Like, oh, God.
They did one World Series in the last 21 years.
They have the dumbest uniforms. I couldn't. It's a bad brand.
Mad Bum.
It's a bad brand.
Randy Johnson.
They have no history.
Tony Womack.
Oh, God, D-backs.
Brandon Webb.
Estee
Ruiz.
Not Ruiz. Uri. Estee Uri.
Oh, this is going to throw me off for.
Estee Uri Ruiz.
Yeah, Ruiz.
Yeah. Estee Uri Uriz. Ruiz. Yeah. Have fun with it. He better steal a lot of bags.
Yeah.
Oh, I guarantee we're going to steal a lot of bags. I can't wait.
I misspoke earlier, by the way. I said John Birdie stole 50 to lead the league. He sold 41 for the Marlins last year.
Did you say John Brody?
Birdie.
You just said John Brody.
I'm not talking about that Niners quarterback.
Who actually also won senior tour events as a golfer. That's how great of a athlete the great John Brody was.
As people would say, how many Super Bowls did he win?
I don't think they had the Super Bowl then, right? Wasn't that just in it? Didn't he play only when there was NFL title games?
I believe so.
Did you know John Brody won two?
Yeah,
I think it was 2 tournaments.
I knew he was a good golfer.
That's amazing. You play in the NFL and win golf tournaments. John Brody, the great John Brody. He's Stanford, right?
Yes. He played around the same time as
Oakland Tech. He went to Oakland Tech.
That's Marshawn Lynch's high school, if I'm not mistaken.
Most valuable player. Let's see. He was the MVP, comeback player of the year. He did everything. I don't think he won a championship, though.
You call yourself a Hall of Famer. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame, right? Or is he he's on the Pro Football Hall of Fame, is he?
No.
Is he in the College Football Hall of Fame?
He's in the Niner Hall of Fame.
I thought I saw on Wikipedia. I thought I saw
He's in the College Football Hall of Fame.
You say I don't watch college football. You don't know nothing about Stanford.
You didn't even know he existed. You thought he was a Marlin. All right, we will be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, yes.
We'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We're going to be taping A's players. We have no idea what time.
No, we don't know. So we'll find out. We'll find out later tonight.
We'll be back tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching A's Cast Live from spring training.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power